On day 1, I spawned in as a baby Na'vi from the movie Avatar. I was surrounded by a bunch of other Na'vi, but I was the only baby. Why am I a baby? Are you my parents? Just then, Colonel Quaritch showed up with a bunch of soldiers.
Consider this a warning. In 100 days, I'm going to attack and destroy the Tree of Souls. Without the Tree of Souls, all the Na'vi will disappear.
Everyone around me was angry, and they attacked. It was no use though. We were no match against the Colonel and his men.
Quick, Zozo, take this.
My parents threw me a ceremonial bow and some arrows and told me to hurry and hide deeper in the cave. No, wait! My parents joined the fight, but they too were quickly defeated. I had no choice but to run away and hide in the cave. I have 100 days to stop the army from destroying the tree, but how can a baby like me stop an entire army? On day 2, I ran deeper into the cave. I had to be careful because I only had 4 hearts. Just then, I heard footsteps behind me. Someone was coming. I hurried and hid. A few military guys came running up and stopped in the tunnel.
Did you see where that little baby Na'vi went? Colonel is going to make us do 200 push-ups if we don't find him.
You mean that baby?
Uh-oh, they saw me. I hurried and pulled out my bow, trying to hold them off. It's not working. I can't die already. Suddenly, something came running up to me. It was a hexapede.
On my back. Hurry. What's your name, little guy?
It's Zozo. What about you?
Nikayu. Pleased to meet you.
On day 3, Nikaru and I had reached an area deep in the woods. The space was filled with all kinds of creatures. Wow, I was wondering where you guys went to hide from the soldiers. Nikaru then brought me to the wise old leader of the hexapedes.
And what brings such a small Na'vi to a place such as this?
I told him about the soldiers and how they had ambushed my colony. I also told him that I had less than 100 days to save the Tree of Souls.
If they destroy the Tree of Souls, all life on our planet will disappear. We must protect the tree at all costs. You aren't planning on taking the whole army down alone, are you?
They took out my whole tribe, so it's just me.
You're going to need all the help you can get. I'm too old to fight, but please take these supplies to aid you on your journey.
Thank you. I don't know how I'm going to stop them yet, but I will do everything I can.
We believe in you, but be careful. Colonel Quaritch will not hesitate to destroy anyone who stands in his way.
I nodded and prepared to leave. Before I could get too far, Nikaru stopped me.
This battle affects us all. I'm strong and can help you in the fight.
I would love to have your help. Let's do this. On days 4 to 5, I decided it was time to start preparing myself for the fight. I went around punching trees and got enough tools to make myself a crafting table. With the crafting table completed, I then made myself a wooden pick. Let's get stony. Using my wooden pick, I mined a bunch of cobblestone, then used the cobblestone to craft a full set of stone tools. After I finished crafting, I realized it was starting to get late. I better start building my base. I can't risk getting attacked at night. I quickly got to work, building myself a base. I had found a giant tree and decided to build a base inside of it. I built rooms for both Nikaru and me to live in. It's just a simple base, but it should keep us safe for now. By the time I finished building, it had gotten late. That's when some spiders attacked out of nowhere. Oh no, I spoke too soon. I swung my sword furiously and was able to take them all out. Just then, I felt a burst of energy and gained 10 hearts. Oh yeah, I'm even stronger. Before I went to bed, I decided to set up some torches. No more random mob attacks for me. On days 6 to 8, I woke up and decided to check the village from earlier for survivors. As I looked around, I saw that the soldiers had totally trashed the place. Then I saw a girl running from a soldier. Hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size? The soldier heard me yelling and stopped running after the girl. Then he turned and ran toward me. I had gotten stronger, so I wasn't afraid. I used all of my weapons and abilities, but he was still really strong. It was an intense battle, and we ended up on a balcony. I swung as hard as I could and knocked him over the edge. As the soldier disappeared, I saw he dropped something. The girl he was chasing ran over and picked it up. Find anything good?
It looks like a map to a prison. Thanks for taking that guy out, by the way. What's your name?
My name's Zozo. What about you?
Neytiri.
Nice to meet you. What were you doing out here anyway?
When these soldiers attacked the village, I escaped during the fighting. I came back to try and find my parents.
It looks pretty empty here, but maybe the prison on that map is where they're being held.
I'll try anything. Let's go.
On days 9 to 10, Neytiri and I made our way toward the prison. We carefully followed the map and soon saw a small prison in the distance. That must be it, but it looks like there's no guards.
Let's get closer and find out.
Just then, a grenade was tossed in front of us, blinding us. When we came to, a tough-looking soldier jumped out and attacked. They must have seen us coming. I tried my best to fight him off, but he was too strong. This was a fight I wasn't going to win. Neytiri and I had no choice but to jump down the tree and run away. Once we had gotten far enough away, we paused to talk. It looks like we're not strong enough.
This all feels so helpless.
Don't worry, we can figure it out. In the meantime, you can stay at my base. On days 11 to 12, Neytiri and I arrived back at the base. I hurried and built her a room to stay in.
Thanks for looking out for me, Zozo.
No problem. I wanted to ask you though, what do you know about the Colonel and these humans?
I doubt I know much more than you, but when our village was under attack, I did overhear the Colonel saying he will rule over our planet once we're all wiped out.
We can't let that happen. I was feeling angry about the Colonel, so I decided to look for more materials. I soon found some iron and coal. Back at the base, I loaded up some furnaces and started smelting. Then I crafted some iron tools, along with some iron boots and leggings. Neytiri then came over to me and let me know he was feeling a little hungry, so I went out to try and find some food. After some walking, I found some carrots. Oh yes, I'll love these! I returned back to the base and dropped off the carrots to Neytiri, then headed outside to start a carrot farm. Now we'll never run out of food. On days 13 to 15, I wanted to get stronger, so I asked Neytiri if she could help.
The strongest warriors would train by hunting manticore, but only the adults. True warriors never harm the babies.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I left the base and soon found myself in a tundra. The manticore should be close by. That's when I noticed some manticore feathers on the ground. Aha! I must be getting close. I looked a little further when I saw two manticores up ahead, a baby and its mom. I started to sneak toward the adult when suddenly a couple military guys jumped out and took out the baby. Those cowards! They then tried to fight the mom, who quickly took out one of the soldiers. It wasn't enough though, and the other soldier took her down. I rushed in. What do you think you're doing?
The Colonel has given us orders to destroy all the animals. We can't have you Na'vi trying to get stronger now, can we?
That's assuming I'm not strong enough already. I charged at the soldier, angry at their disrespect. The soldier thought he was a tough guy, but in a few moments, I showed him up and took him out. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped a manticore heart. I picked it up and took it with me back to the base. Back home, I went over to Neytiri and told her what happened. Then I showed her the manticore heart.
That is what our warriors are after when they fight the manticores. Eat it.
Eat it? If you say so. I scarfed down the manticore heart, and to my surprise, I gained 6 more hearts. Now that's some powerful stuff. On days 16 to 19, I headed out to do some more exploring. As I wandered, I soon found an ogre village. As I watched the ogres living peacefully in their home, I suddenly remembered my own life, a time where I lived peacefully with my own parents. Those evil humans want to break up all these wonderful families. I won't let that happen. Speaking of which, a group of soldiers had just shown up, and they were attacking the village. The ogres all ran into their homes afraid. It was up to me to help them. Not today, humans! I charged in, using all the weapons I had at my disposal. These soldiers were tough, but with my training and upgrades, I was getting tough too. After a bit, I had won. A dad and his baby ogre came out of their house. He thanked me for defending the village, then offered me a jar to say thank you. Is this a jar of farts? I'll find a good way to put this to good use. Thanks. On days 20 to 22, I started heading back to my base. I was thinking about the jar of farts when I was attacked by a crimson mosquito. How do you like this? I unleashed the jar of farts, which took him out with ease. Well, that didn't stink. Later, I saw some iron ore, which I mined up. Back at the base, I smelted the ore into ingots, then crafted them into a chestplate and sword. With my new equipment, I returned to the prison. Maybe I'd have better luck this time. As I arrived back at the prison, I saw another stun grenade pop out. It was the guard. He fired his weapon at me, but I was able to sneak up behind him and knock him out of the tree. This guy was tough and managed to hit me with a poison dagger, which really hurt. Even though he had grenades and weapons, I was able to get him down to half a heart. Before I could finish him off though, he started to laugh. What's so funny?
Whoever you're looking for here is already dead.
I suddenly saw a vision of Neytiri's parents being interrogated in the prison. They refused to tell the Colonel anything about the Tree of Souls.
Then you will die. Goodbye.
Back in the present, the soldier tried to attack me again. He was weak though, and I finished him off. Inside the prison, I saw it was empty, apart from a necklace memento. I'll have to take this to Neytiri. Maybe it can help. On days 23 to 26, I arrived back at the base with some bad news for Neytiri. I soon found her. Hey Neytiri, I managed to get into the prison, but I'm afraid it's not what we were hoping for.
My parents are gone, aren't they?
I'm afraid so.
I thought that might be the case, but was hoping maybe I'd be wrong.
If it helps, I did find this. I gave her the memento. I could tell it really helped her feel better.
Thank you, Zozo. But hey, I have something to show you.
Neytiri brought me outside and showed me that she had collected some chickens. This was perfect, as I was starting to run low on feathers for arrows. I got right to work building them a chicken coop, then bringing them into it. I then went out to get more supplies. I found more iron, as well as some diamonds. I made an iron helmet to complete my armor set, then crafted a diamond pickaxe. To finish it all off, I got to work improving the base. I wanted to make it a little nicer for everyone. When I finished, I realized it was missing something. I think it just needs to be a little bit more avatar-y. On days 27 to 31, I headed out to find the materials I needed. On the way, I ran into a couple chocobos. Hey, are you guys okay?
We're looking for our favorite food, nightshade berries. These soldiers kicked us out of our land, so we don't know where to find it.
I don't know where to look, but I'll keep an eye out. I invited them back to my base in the meantime, to which they happily agreed. I soon came across the soul lights I was looking for and started mining. Suddenly, a flock of pateras started to attack me. Hey, I'm not bothering you. Leave me alone. I managed to fend the pateras off, and then I finished mining up the soul lights. Back at the base, I used the soul lights to finish the decorations. It was looking really great. I then built the chocobos their own rooms to stay in. They were really happy about that. Then Nikaryu came running up to me.
The soldiers are attacking my herd. Come quickly.
I jumped on his back and we rode off to help. On days 32 to 35, we hurried back to the herd. As we arrived, I could see the place was filled with soldiers. We've got to help them. I rushed in, knocking out as many soldiers as I could. The hex beads had really hurt them, so I was able to finish several of them off. That's when I saw a soldier fighting the elder. Hey, get away from him! The soldier hit the elder, a hit he surely couldn't survive. No! I rushed in and took out all of the remaining soldiers. I approached the elder, but it was too late.
Zozo, stay strong and keep fighting. And please, keep looking after my son.
And before I could respond, he died. Nikaryu, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was your dad. All I could think about was the moment my parents died. My heart hurt for Nikaryu.
It's okay, Zozo. Looks like we're both orphans now.
We still have each other. You can stick with me for as long as you want. On days 36 to 39, I decided to spend some time out alone. It had been a rough few days. That's when I heard someone call out to me.
Hey, you! Wait!
What's going on?
My house has been taken over by a boar! Everyone is too scared to help me.
Okay, sure. I'll help. Tell me where to go. I headed off in the direction the goblin had pointed me. I soon saw the cave he described, and when I went inside, the boar attacked me. Hey, don't be so mean! The boar was tough, but I finally managed to beat them back. I was about to deliver the final blow when a voice cried out.
Wait! Please don't hurt my mom!
I turned and saw a baby boar. I asked them why they were in someone else's house, but before they could answer, the goblin from earlier showed up.
What are you waiting for? Take them out!
Wait, something isn't right about this. Just then, the goblin went to attack the boar. But before he could do any real damage, I stepped in and took him out.
Thank you! That goblin was trying to kick us out of our home.
Wait, that's what he said you did to him.
He was lying so you'd come after us.
That's when I noticed he had dropped a note. It was from the Colonel. It read, "Destroy as many animals as you can, and you will be rewarded greatly. He's trying to turn everyone against each other. We've got to hurry and stop him." On days 40 to 43, I arrived back at the base. I felt bad for everyone who had lost a friend or family, so I decided to improve the base. I went around and made each room a little nicer. Now that's looking great.
I'm really worried about the herd. My father had really given them a home.
Then tell them all to come live here. Nikaryu went to tell the other animals, and I got ready, preparing a place for them to stay. We were all going to be one big happy group, and I couldn't wait for everyone to arrive. Just as I finished up, the chocobos from earlier came over to chat. They told me they were now big fans of carrots, but unfortunately they were going to need their favorite food. Otherwise, they couldn't survive. Okay, don't worry guys, I'll find it. They explained what it was and where I could find it, then I hurried off. On days 44 to 49, I arrived in the location that the chocobos had told me about. As I was exploring, I nearly ran into the Colonel.
Aha! I knew I would find you here.
What do you want?
You keep attacking my men and saving all the animals. Stop getting in my way.
I'll never stop, not until you're defeated.
Good luck with that.
The Colonel waved his arm, and a super soldier dropped from a Samson aircraft in front of me. The Colonel chuckled and left us to fight. This was going to be my hardest fight yet. The super soldier was strong, bigger than normal humans, and had attacks I had never seen before. He shot rockets from a tube he was carrying on his shoulder. What lab did this guy crawl out of? I did my best to hit him with my bow, but it didn't seem to do much damage. The arrows weren't working. Looks like it might be time to try something new. On days 50 to 53, I kept fighting against the super soldier. It was time to stop fighting from afar and get up close and personal. Take this! I charged in and started swinging my sword. With me being this close, his rockets were completely useless. Now that he wasn't hitting me as hard, it was only a matter of time. At long last, I delivered the final blow. Looks like I'll be the one fighting another day. As I looked around, I saw the colonel had been watching the battle.
I'll be back for you, Zozo. Mark my words.
I charged at the colonel, but before I could get a hit in, he threw a stun grenade right in front of my feet. When the smoke cleared, the colonel was gone. I'm the strongest I've ever been, but it's still not enough. I have to get stronger. On days 54 to 57, I remembered I was supposed to be finding the Chocobo's food. At long last, I saw what I was looking for. As I got closer though, I was suddenly attacked by 2 hammerhead titanotheres. Oh man, I must be on their turf. The 2 hammerheads were incredibly strong, working together to hit me with their attacks. It wasn't enough though, and I managed to take one out. Uh-oh, looks like the other one is really mad now. The remaining hammerhead charged at me, no longer trying to be strategic. It wasn't much longer, and I had taken them out as well. As it disappeared, I noticed it had dropped poisonous skin. I bet I could use this to make poison arrows. Oh, this will really help me out. I then collected the nightshade berries and headed back to my base. Back at the base, I met up with the Chocobos and gave them the nightshade berries. They jumped for joy and told me that they could now access their special power. Special power? You should have mentioned this before. The Chocobos explained that they can tap into the planet's life force and communicate with those who have passed on, but only for short amounts of time. So, my parents. The Chocobos nodded and then put their head down. There was a glow, and suddenly I could see my parents in front of me. Dad? Mom?
It's us, Zozo. We're so proud of you and what you're doing. Keep fighting. We know you can defeat the Colonel.
There was another bright light, and they disappeared. Thank you for doing that for me. Now let's win this fight. On days 58 to 62, I got to work planting some of the nightshade berries so the Chocobos would have a constant supply. As I finished, Neytiri came up to me.
Thanks for getting these planted. I've been enjoying taking care of the other plants, so I'll make sure these are good as well.
I thanked her, then left to try and go find some more diamonds. As I went deeper and deeper into the mines, I soon found a whole bunch of diamonds. Before I could start mining though, I was attacked out of nowhere. What are you doing down here, you creep? I then mined up all the diamonds and went back to my base. With my diamonds, I made myself a couple of pieces of armor. Then I headed out to the farm and made some improvements, so Neytiri could feel happy while she worked on the farm. On days 63 to 66, one of the Chocobos came running over to me. They told me they had spoken to a great warrior who had died long ago. This warrior told him about a powerful weapon that could defeat the Colonel. That could be the very thing we need to win. The Chocobos told me that it was in a different biome and told me where to go. I set off right away, and I soon reached the vortex. As I searched, I soon saw a temple, and I noticed there was a Leonopteryx flying around overhead. As long as he doesn't bug me, I won't bug him. I approached the temple and headed inside. This had to be where the weapon was kept. Suddenly, a Thanator jumped out. I took my sword, ready to fight. Then the Thanator spoke.
Wait, don't attack.
I thought you were going to attack me.
Of course not. I'm super nice. This temple is my home, but some other not so nice mobs have kicked me out.
Oh man, well I'm looking for some kind of ancient weapon here. Do you know anything about it?
It's possible. The temple is filled with all kinds of old relics. Clear the place, and you can take whatever you want.
Deal. On days 67 to 70, I followed the Thanator deeper into the temple. As we walked, I noticed several pieces of art and books that looked like they were centuries old. Eventually, we stopped outside a room, and he turned to me.
They're in there. Viper wolves, and lots of them.
I'll take care of it. You hang tight. I ran into the next room, and sure enough, there were a bunch of Viper wolves. They immediately attacked, and I did my best to fight them off. My ticket to beating the Colonel could be hiding here. I had to win. Time to say goodbye. I kept swinging, and at long last, the Viper wolves were all defeated. I heard a noise in the corner and saw there were some smaller Thanators hiding nearby.
Thank you, Zozo. This is my family.
They all thanked me, and I took off to look for the weapon the ancient warrior had mentioned. I looked and looked in every nook and cranny, but there was nothing. Shoot, the weapon must not be here anymore. I met back up with the Thanator and invited him and his family to live at my base, but he said they were happy here. I thanked him for letting me look, and then left to go back to my base. On days 71 to 74, I left the temple as the Leonopteryx circled in the sky above. I paused for a moment. Did you know this isn't my first adventure? You can watch more of my videos after this one is over. Just search for Zozo, Z-O-Z-O. I was getting closer to my base when I came across a group of soldiers. More of these guys, huh? Not for long. I charged in and started taking them out. The less pesky soldiers there were, the safer the land would be. Soon, I had taken them all out. That's when I noticed one of them had dropped a note. It said,
To all soldiers, there is a Na'vi named Zozo who needs to be defeated immediately. I, Colonel Quaritch, am working on a special weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. It will be done at the end of the 100 days, but this Zozo needs to be dealt with immediately. All soldiers will be on double shifts until he is destroyed.
It looks like I'm making a dent. But what is this weapon he's working on? I have to find a powerful weapon of my own, and fast. On days 75 to 78, I arrived back at my base and went to talk to the Chocobos. I went to the temple and searched everywhere, but I didn't see it anywhere. The Chocobo was really confused, as the spirits they talk to are rarely wrong. But unfortunately, they didn't have any other ideas. They promised to try and figure it out. I decided that in the meantime, I would improve the base. It was starting to look really good now. I could tell everyone was really happy, and I hoped it could always be like that. When I had finished making my upgrades, Neytiri came over to talk to me.
Zozo, I have some great news.
What is it?
I have been experimenting with the plants and developed a superfood. I want you to be the first to try it.
I picked it up and ate it down. It was delicious. Suddenly, I felt energy flow through me, and I grew even bigger, with even more hearts. Whoa, this is awesome! On days 79 to 84, I decided to test out my strength. I soon arrived in a new place and spotted the perfect test subjects. How do you like me now? I jumped in and managed to take them out in just a few hits. Now that's what I call power. Just then, I spotted someone watching me from afar. It was another Na'vi. He came over to me.
You're pretty strong.
Thanks. I can take on anyone.
You could be stronger though.
Oh, what makes you think so?
Well, I'm stronger than you. Check it out.
The Na'vi hit me, and he was right. He was strong. Ouch! Okay, you didn't have to hit me. I believed you. What's your secret?
Come, I'll show you.
The Na'vi then put me through a training program. He had a lot of good advice, and I was able to learn so many new things in a short amount of time. Once we were done training, the warrior tossed me an upgraded bow. Thanks, I'm feeling even stronger already. By the way, how did you get so strong?
It was my mission to ride a Leonopteryx, but I've never been successful. Now I don't even know where to find one.
I didn't know you could ride those. I actually saw one not too long ago. I could show him to you.
No, I'm much too old now, but I think you could do it.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Say, why don't you come live at my base with me?
No thanks. The wilderness is where I belong.
I thanked him for his help, then turned to go back to my base. On days 85 to 89, I returned to the base and saw it had been attacked. Buildings were broken and no one was around. Oh no, what happened? Where is everyone? I ran around the base, looking to see if I could find anyone. I soon found Nakaru. He was injured and hiding in one of the ruined buildings. What happened here?
The soldiers, they came out of nowhere. They took Neytiri.
Oh no, I have to save her. Where did they go? Are you okay?
Yes, I'll live. Quick, they only left an hour ago. They went that way.
I hurried in the direction Nakaru had mentioned, looking for any signs of the soldiers. Then I heard someone calling for help. Neytiri! I ran toward the sound, but saw it wasn't Neytiri. It was a dire horse, who was clearly injured. Before I could say anything, it spoke.
Are you looking for that girl?
Yes, have you seen her?
I tried to stop them, but they knocked me out of their way. They're moving quickly, faster than you can run. But there is another way.
What's that?
Nearby is a special plant. Blue orchids grow on top of that tree right over there. Harvest one of the leaves and rub it on my wound. Then I can carry you to them in no time.
Okay, show me the way. He told me where to go, and I ran off. I soon saw the tree. It was extremely tall, and the leaves I needed were at the very top. Let's get jumping. I jumped from branch to branch, doing my best not to fall. At long last, I reached the top and grabbed the leaves I needed. Sometime later, I was back by the dire horse. I applied the leaves, and he immediately hopped up.
Hop on, there's still time.
On days 90 to 94, the dire horse and I could see the soldiers appear in the distance. There was no time to waste. As we got closer, I could see Neytiri. She was being guarded by a few guards, as well as another super soldier. But this super soldier looked even stronger than the first one. I jumped off the dire horse and told him to get a safe distance away. I faced him. Let her go!
Come to save your friend, huh? You'll never win. Get this Na'vi punk out of my sight.
The normal soldiers charged at me, but I knocked them out with just a few hits.
Huh, you're stronger than you look. but not stronger than me.
The super soldier charged at me, unleashing a special attack. I didn't see it coming, and it did a lot of damage. This was going to be tough. You'll never take our land, our people! I took out my bow and landed a perfect shot, which seemed to disable his special attack. Now the fight was really on.
You'll pay for that.
On days 95 to 97, our battle raged on. He was madder than ever, now that he didn't have an advantage. Both of our hearts were dropping, and it was only a matter of time until one of us fell. Suddenly, he stepped back. One more hit, and I would win.
You think beating me changes anything? I've done my job already.
What is that supposed to mean?
The Colonel has already completed his weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. We took the girl to take you out of the game. You're too late.
No! I jumped toward him and destroyed him for good. Then I noticed he dropped something. With this, I can do his same special attack. I quickly freed Neytiri. Hurry back to the base using the Dire Horse. I'm not strong enough to defeat the Colonel yet, but I think I know what I need to do. Neytiri nodded and ran off to find the Dire Horse and get back to the base. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm crazy enough to try. On day 98, I rushed back to the temple. The ancient warrior said this was the location of the weapon, but he never said it was inside of the temple. I looked up at the Leonopteryx. If I can tame it, I'll finally be able to be the ultimate warrior. The Leonopteryx kept flying around, ignoring me completely. I thought about it for a moment, then pulled out my bow. I aimed and fired. The arrow was a direct hit. The big bird let out a screech and headed right at me. Oh boy, I may have really stepped in it this time. The bird swooped down to hit me. I jumped to the side and tried to get on its back. I was close, but missed. Shoot, I've got to keep trying. The bird was interested in attacking me now, and I did my best to avoid it. Sometimes it hit me, but most of the time I was able to land on its back. Finally, after several attempts, it worked. Got you. The Leonopteryx was mad at first, flying around like crazy, but soon it recognized it had lost, and soon it was smooth sailing. We bonded through the flight and soon landed back on the ground. I hopped off as the bird flew away, then suddenly I felt the power flow through me, and I leveled up into my biggest, final form. At long last, I'm ready to take this Colonel down. On day 99, I returned back to the village where it all began. The Tree of Souls was nearby. I passed through the tunnels I had run through nearly 100 days ago. I had grown so much since then. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and I could see my parents standing before me. I was so close to the Tree of Souls, it made it possible for them to show themselves to me. Mom, Dad!
Great job, Zozo. We've been watching your journey and are so proud of everything you've accomplished.
Thank you. I just wish I could have saved you too.
Don't worry about us, son. Everyone on the planet is counting on you, but we know you can stop the Colonel and save our way of life.
I will do my best.
We will be watching and supporting you. Do not lose hope.
There was another flash of light, and they disappeared. I soon emerged from the tunnel into a large cavern. I could see the final tunnel to the Tree of Souls, but an army of super soldiers were blocking the path. Oh no, how could I possibly get past all of them?
You won't be alone.
I turned and saw Nakaru, along with all of the friends I had made along the way.
We will distract them. You go for the Colonel.
I don't deserve friends as great as you.
We don't deserve a friend as great as you.
I smiled and thanked them for being my new family. It was going to be a tough fight, but it was for our home. Everyone ready? Attack! My friends charged at the super soldiers, who were shocked to see that they were the ones being overpowered. As they fought, I saw a chance to run through the tunnel. I took it and headed in. Hopefully my friends could stay alive long enough for me to take the Colonel down. On day 100, I entered another large cavern. In the center of it was the Tree of Souls. It was still standing, but the Colonel was in a mech suit, shooting it with energy beams. Colonel, it's over. I'm here to stop you for good. You'll pay for the lives you've taken.
Stop me. Can't you see you're too late? This weapon can't be stopped, especially by a weakling like you.
You'll have to destroy me first.
I've spent 100 days developing this weapon. That will be easy.
The Colonel then turned and fired his beam at me. It landed near me, causing an explosion. The explosion knocked me to the side, causing a lot of damage. I hurried and got out my bow, firing off arrows as fast as I could. I got some hits in, but it looked like it wasn't doing much damage.
Arrows? Really? Do you see what you're up against? Give up now, and I'll let you stay alive as my pet.
I'll never stop fighting! He shot off a beam again, this time hitting me. It nearly took all of my hearts. I ran and hid behind some rocks so that I could hurry and heal up.
See what I mean? You have no chance, cowering like a small child, because that's what you are.
Just then, I saw a wood sprite land near me. A wood sprite? It's a pure seed from the Tree of Souls. I could tell it wanted something with me.
Accept me.
I closed my eyes, and the wood sprite flew into me. I felt myself get stronger. Suddenly, more and more wood sprites started to appear and start flying into me. The power of generations began flowing through me. I grew even bigger and now had 100 hearts. I stepped out to face the Colonel again.
What? How?
You failed to understand the world around you, and so now you'll fail to defeat me. The Colonel yelled and started firing his energy beams at me. They still did some damage, but I barely felt a thing. I charged at him, sword in hand. I jumped into the air, slamming my sword down on top of him. His suit exploded, and he was destroyed. The world was safe once more. I celebrated with my friends. If anyone else tried to hurt us again, we would be ready. On day 1, I spawned in as an ice spider, an arachnid as cold as the Arctic reaches. All 8 of my legs are here, but why am I so little? I'm only a baby spider. That's when I realized that I was trapped inside of a magic circle. An evil-looking necromancer stood on the outside, casting a terrible spell.
A spider of ice, it will suffice. So says me, Necromancer Bryce.
Light swirled all around me, and the entire world shook. But when it stopped, I felt like I was able to move. Great! I better get out of here while I can. I tried to scurry away, but Bryce the Necromancer blocked my path.
Not so fast there, Ice Spider. Your part to play is done, so now I'll destroy you and complete the spell.
Hey, I have a name, you know. It's Zozo, and I don't like it when people say they're going to destroy me.
Oh, it's nothing personal. That magic spell I just cast is going to destroy the entire world 100 days from now.
What? The entire world? You do realize that doesn't make it better, right?
But it does make it destroyed. The ritual also says that I should sacrifice the ice spider used in the spell for best results.
Well, it's not going to be this ice spider. I'm leaving, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna find a way to counteract your spell. I bolted for it as fast as my 8 legs could carry. Instead of chasing after me, the necromancer Bryce just laughed wickedly to himself.
Easier said than done, my arachnid friend. The world's destruction is close at hand.
On day 2, I managed to get far enough away from the necromancer Bryce that I could take it easy. I looked around in wonder at the glowing ancient forest around me. I also noticed that I had 10 hearts and that my hunger gauge was lowering fast. It looks like running for my life from a destruction-happy evil necromancer really works up an appetite. I searched around until I found a tree that had apples in it for me to take. Then I ate the apples until my hunger meter was full again. Surviving all alone in this world as a baby spider isn't so bad. I'm really getting the hang of it. I wasn't alone for long though, as I saw a couple of skeleton vanguards appear out from between the trees.
There you are, Ice Spider. We shall get rid of you for our master, the Necromancer Bryce.
He must really want to sacrifice me if he's sending skeletons to do his bidding. I tried to fend off the skeleton vanguards, but my spider bites didn't have much of an effect on creatures made of bone.
Give up, Spider. The world is doomed, and your sacrifice will seal its fate.
The mobs kept attacking, bringing me down to my last few hearts. I thought I was doomed. But then, an energy blast distracted the skeleton vanguards and made them run away. Out of nowhere, an illusioner appeared. I realized immediately that they must have been the one who cast the spell.
Follow me, little ice spider. I'll take you to my camp. We'll be safer there.
You saved my life, so I guess I can trust you. On day 3, the illusioner took me to his campsite and cast a protective illusion barrier around both of us so that the mobs wouldn't find us. You're pretty good at casting spells, illusioner.
Please, call me Alan. Illusioner Alan.
Okay, Alan, you're pretty good at casting spells.
Thank you for saying that, but unfortunately, there are mages far more powerful than me in the world, and some of them are using their gifts for evil.
You mean like Necromancer Bryce? Is it true that his spell will end the world?
Not if we good mages have anything to say about it.
Soon after, another mage arrived at the campfire. This one was a wind caller with the power to, well, call wind.
I'm Wind Caller Windy. I'm here to see the Ice Spider.
That's me. I'm Ice Spider Zozo.
Oh, the winds are truly blowing in our favor. You, my amicable arachnid, may be the key to saving the entire world from destruction. Necromancer Bryce's ritual can be stopped by a more powerful spell as long as he doesn't sacrifice an ice spider.
So as long as I'm alive, there's a chance that you mages will be able to stop him.
We'll need your help too. We can battle his henchmen and travel to places which would be too dangerous for us.
You can count on me. I might still be a baby spider, but I won't let the entire world down. From day 4 to day 5, I began to make use of the trees around me to gather wood for a wooden pickaxe. Because my starting area was a forest, it didn't take long to have enough to craft the tool. But wood wouldn't be good for long if I could do better. I mined into the ground with my wooden pickaxe for some stone and quickly upgraded to a stone pickaxe. With the new and improved stone tool, I was able to gather even more stone to use for building and crafting. First, I made a stone sword to defend myself with. Next, I started building a strong shelter where I could stay safe from Necromancer Bryce and his undead minions. Illusioner Alan had chosen to come with me. His illusion spells would help keep me safe while I built the base. Thanks for all your help so far, Alan.
Remember, Zozo, do not rely on magic. It cannot keep every mob away.
I soon understood what he meant when a skeleton appeared and interrupted my building. Good thing I crafted that stone sword. I drew my weapon and brought down the skeleton with a cup of wax. My victory against the skeleton made me stronger and more experienced, and because of that, I grew out of my baby mode into a regular-sized ice spider with 30 hearts. I can shoot ice blasts now. That is more like it. From day 6 to day 8, I was out exploring in the nearby gravelly mountains when I saw a friendly gorilla being attacked by a slime ball.
Get away from me, you slime ball!
The slime ball didn't answer. It just bounced and got slime everywhere. You may be slimy, but this ice spider isn't so helpless anymore. I hit the slime ball with my stone sword over and over. It did a good amount of damage, but I was taking damage the longer I stayed in contact with the slime ball. I retreated back to a safe distance and shot the slime ball with an ice blast. It froze the mob solid, so I was able to get in a few more hits with my stone sword while it was immobilized. I repeated this 2 or 3 times with more ice blasts until the slime ball was defeated. Once the battle was over, the gorilla cheered and ran up to greet me.
Brr, I was cold just watching that, but I'm glad you're on my side.
Of course. I, Ice Spider Zozo, am all about saving others.
You're definitely the nicest ice mob I've met. Say, do you think you could talk to the other one I know and tell him to stop trying to freeze me?
Sure thing. I'll let him know that's not nice.
He's just over here in another part of the mountains.
From day 9 to day 10, the gorilla showed me to the lair of the Icy Creeper, a powerful ice mob that seemed to like to cause trouble. Gorilla seemed worried for me. That's how I knew Icy Creeper would be trouble.
Are you sure you could duck him out of being mean, Zozo?
I can certainly try. I left Gorilla behind and approached the Icy Creeper. His attention was on me immediately, but he didn't speak. It looked like I would need to talk first. Hey, I'm Ice Spider Zozo. I heard you've been trying to freeze the gorilla and they'd like you to stop.
Well, that's very nice, but I'm not gonna. I'll freeze anyone I want.
That's so rude. What did the gorilla ever do to you?
Nothing, but this is a cold world, and I'm one cold, tough customer. If that gorilla doesn't like it, he can go to another mountain.
Don't make me fight you, Icy Creeper.
I'd like to see you try.
I fired my ice blast at the Icy Creeper, but it seemed like he was even colder than me because it barely did any damage. His own ice blast took off a bunch of my hearts. In a battle between ice creatures, I was definitely the loser for now. I ran back to the gorilla, sad that I couldn't defeat the Icy Creeper. I promised Gorilla that I'd let him stay in my base for now and come back to the gravelly mountains to defeat Icy Creeper at a later time. From day 11 to day 12, I returned to my base and began renovating the living space so that the gorilla had a place to live. I used a lot of stone bricks so it wouldn't be too different from the mountain he had left behind. Once I had built the room, I went to see the gorilla and showed him where he could stay.
Thanks for letting me stay here, Zozo. I thought you could use some more storage space, so I did a bit of building on my own.
It turned out that the gorilla really had built a room that was perfect for storing extra items. He also built a furnace that would heat up the room where he and the mages would be staying. Oh yeah, I guess you guys need to stay warm. Either way, that's very impressive work.
I call it the home away from home. Oh, I hope I get to see the mountains again before the world ends.
It's not going to end. I'll stop it.
I hope so. That necromancer Bryce has been plotting world destruction for a long time, actually. He's tried all sorts of spells to do it, and they've never worked. This one might, though, and the idea of that is really scary.
It did sound scary, and I wasted no time getting better materials to help defend myself in case Bryce showed up. Down in the mining area of the base, I went digging for some iron to upgrade my tools. I found some iron ore, which I smelted into iron ingots, then crafted into an iron pickaxe and an iron sword. Back on the surface, I tamed some sheep from the nearby glowing ancient forest and built a farm for them. If that furnace fails, there's always wool sweaters. From day 13 to day 15, I sought out Illusioner Alan for some more advice on how to complete Necromancer Bryce's challenge. I want to save the world as soon as I can, Alan. Is the spell ready yet?
If only magic were that simple, Zozo. The truth is that Bryce's destruction spell is linked to you now. The only way to weaken it is for you to become stronger.
How do I do that?
When you defeated Bryce's skeleton henchman before, some of the spell's magic transferred into you. If you could defeat a more powerful one, it could happen again.
I went back to the Gravelly Mountains in the hopes of finding another undead mob to fight. Come and get me! I don't fear you, skeletons! As if answering my call to battle, a skeleton vanguard came charging across the mountain terrain towards me.
Spider of ice, spider of ice, the time has come for sacrifice.
I hit the advancing skeleton vanguard with an ice blast, which slowed the undead down. I was able to hit him with another before he got into melee range. Time to get a taste of my new weapon. At that point, I brought out my iron sword and slashed the skeleton vanguard with some powerful hits. The skeleton vanguard crumbled and dropped a health potion to boot. This potion must contain some more of Bryce's magic. I drank the potion and felt my power increase dramatically. My number of hearts doubled and became 60, and I gained the magical ability to turn invisible like see-through ice. From day 16 to day 19, I continued my exploration into a brand new part of the world that I'd never seen before, the Great Lake Isles. As I crawled around this breathtaking new biome, I came across an abandoned book that contained information about the destruction spell that Necromancer Bryce had cast. A spell of destruction cast by a Necromancer must be confirmed with the sacrifice of an ice spider. For this reason, an ice spider that survives the casting of the spell can prevent the destruction of the world by being at the center of a spell of life, which is made to protect the world. I wasn't sure exactly what that meant, but it sounded like there was a way to turn the tide of destruction. I excitedly began to leave the Great Lake Isles when some more skeleton vanguards ambushed me to try and get me to be sacrificed.
Spider of ice, the time has come for
Yeah, sacrifice. You creeps must have followed me from the mountains. I used my iron sword and I pelted the mobs with ice blasts until they were all destroyed. From day 20 to day 22, I realized that my powers were far stronger now that I had grown into a bigger ice spider. I tested my mettle against some specters in the glowing ancient forest, chopping them down with my iron sword. They weren't that difficult to defeat, but the fact that they were here meant that bad omens were on the horizon. Dead becoming more common could be a sign of world destruction being on its way. I did some more mining for iron in the base cavern and grabbed enough ore to make the ingots for an iron chestplate. Now that I'm this much stronger, I bet I could stand up to the Icy Creeper. I returned to the Icy Creeper's lair in the Gravelly Mountains to confront the mob with my new abilities and gear.
Have you learned how cold the world is yet, Zozo?
No, I have learned that the world has good people in it that don't deserve to be frozen or destroyed. I fired my icy blast at the Icy Creeper, and this time, I was the one dealing damage. I had become a colder, more powerful being. Never freeze the gorilla or anyone else ever again.
All right, Zozo, I give. I'll be nice.
The Icy Creeper ran away, never to be mean again and never to be seen again. Upon driving away from that other ice mob, I saw a flashback to Bryce as a younger necromancer, just learning his first spells.
The world is a cold and cruel place. I know. I'll destroy it so nobody has to live in a cold, cruel world.
Guess he was similar to the Icy Creeper in a couple of ways. If only he knew that the world wasn't as cold and cruel as he thought it was. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the base, feeling victorious. I made a beeline for the gorilla to give him the good news. I taught that Icy Creeper a lesson he won't forget anytime soon. I promise you that you won't be having any trouble with him now.
Wow, you are one heroic ice spider, Zozo. I'm really checking my prejudices right now. Also, I made you a gift. In case you didn't notice it on the way in, I made a perimeter wall to defend the base.
Somehow, I totally had missed the perimeter wall. It was awesome, and would do a great job at repelling the roving hordes of the undead. The base is well defended. Maybe now it's time to make sure my body is better defended. I went back to the mining cavern and collected up some more iron ore that I then took back to my base and smelted into iron ingots. I used these to make the rest of my armor set. You may not be able to see the armor on me, but believe me, it's there. From day 27 to day 31, I returned to the Great Lake Isles, wanting to make sure that I'd wiped out the Skeleton Vanguard Scourge completely. The more territory I can take back from the Necromancer Bryce, the less power and resources he has to complete his dark ritual. And it seems like my earlier work had paid off, because I couldn't see a Skeleton Vanguard anywhere. Instead, what I found was a large and smart-looking golem.
Hello there, good sir. Say, I've heard quite a bit about a certain ice spider lately. Your name wouldn't happen to be Zozo, would it?
That depends. What would you do if I was Zozo?
I'd congratulate you. I'm the librarian golem. I travel across the overworld, giving books to those who need them. And the skeleton vanguards working for that blasted necromancer had gotten in the way of my very important mission for far too long. If you are Zozo, then you are responsible for many needy people getting the books they so crave.
Well, in that case, I am Zozo. Why don't you come back to my base with me? You seem like you'd be a valuable ally.
Of course, as long as there's a place where I can read.
I returned to my base with the librarian golem and constructed a new room for him to sleep in. After completing it, I realized how dull and drab the base looked. It needed a personal touch. I harvested some wool from my sheep farm and turned them into a bunch of cool banners that I hung up around the different buildings of my base. Looking snazzy! But my joy was short-lived as Illusioner Alan ran in with frantic news.
Zozo, you need to come with me immediately. Windcaller Wendy is under attack.
From day 32 to day 35, Illusioner Alan and I ran as fast as we could to reach the campfire in the glowing ancient forest where the Windcaller liked to hang out. But by the time we arrived, it was already too late. A vicious gang of skeleton vanguards had already outnumbered and destroyed him. No!
We serve our master well. Everyone who attempts to defend you will be destroyed, Zozo. Nobody will stand in the way of your sacrifice. We will destroy this entire world.
Not if I have anything to say about it! Powered by pure rage, I went in there with all my weapons and powers and wiped out every single one of the skeleton vanguards. In the end, all that was left was myself and Illusioner Alan.
This is bad, Zozo. The Windcaller was a powerful mage and an asset to our operation. Now that she is gone, the danger grows significantly.
But we can't give up, Alan. If we give up, then nobody will stop Necromancer Bryce. We need to fight back against him with everything we have. From day 36 to day 39, I went out to the Gravelly Mountains to wander around and collect my thoughts. I was afraid about everything that had happened, but I couldn't show it in front of everyone who was working for me. Necromancer Bryce and his men are way more dangerous than I thought. My thoughts were interrupted when I ran into an incredibly strange creature, a melon golem, which I didn't even know was a thing.
What? You never see a melon golem before? You don't like melons or something?
No, I love melons. I've just never seen a melon golem before. I'm sorry if I've upset you. If you have a favor you need doing, I'd be happy to see to it and give you a hand.
Well, now that you mention it, there was an obsidian golem who was giving me some real trouble. Would you mind taking care of him before he hurts me or anyone else?
Of course, I'll get right to it. I turned on my invisibility powers and used it to search through the Gravelly Mountains until I discovered the obsidian golem. I used the element of surprise and approached him from behind, attacking him with everything I had. In the end, I managed to defeat him after a tough battle. Then I returned to the melon golem and told him that his bully was gone.
Hey, that's great news! I used to be able to trust the other golems, but a lot of them defected to the Necromancer Bryce, because most of them are hardy enough to survive the cold.
So some golems are working with the Necromancer now? That's not good news.
You point out the obvious a lot, you know.
From day 40 to day 43, I returned back to my base, pleasantly surprised by some improvements that Illusioner Alan had made to the base.
Zozo, I've made very good friends with the librarian golem. He's a wonderful chap, and we've been doing lots of discussions around the arcane arts. So I installed a sizable collection of bookshelves and couches so he can really enjoy himself here.
It's incredibly wholesome that you two have become such good friends.
And he's not the only friend I'd like to stay here. I improved the base by adding a barracks, so I could invite more of my Illusioner friends. The more mages we have at the base, the easier it will be to defend you from the Necromancer.
That sounds like a good idea to me, Alan. Not long after, a small group of other Illusioners arrived, and I greeted them and escorted them to their rooms. Not long after, the librarian golem approached me with a new quest.
Zozo! As you may have heard on the grapevine, or perhaps the melon vine, some golems defected from the overworld and joined up with that dastardly necromancer. Two in particular are the Endstone Golem and the Netherite Golem out in the Great Lake Isles. Perhaps, if you're able to defeat him, it will weaken the necromancer's power in another territory.
That's an awesome idea, librarian golem. I'll set off immediately. From day 44 to day 49, I set off into the Great Lake Isles to find one of the evil golems that had been working for Necromancer Bryce. I want to reduce the power of the Necromancer's spell in whatever way that I can. I thought I saw the glow of magic from one of the islands and made a stealthy approach. To my surprise, it wasn't an Endstone Golem at all, but Necromancer Bryce himself. He was muttering something, so I got closer to hear what it was.
This pathetic world does not deserve mercy. It only deserves cold destruction, and my spell will be that destruction. Soon, the hastening will be upon us.
Couldn't let him stand there and say such terrible things. Take that back, you dastardly necromancer!
Oh, it's you. You're the ice spider that dares to defy me. It seems my undead have thus far been unable to sacrifice you.
Why do you need to sacrifice me so badly anyway? What's in it for you if the entire world is destroyed?
Destroying the entire world is a thankless job, but somebody has to do it. Anyway, I've got a brand new caliber of minion now. Prepare to meet my netherite golem.
The necromancer Bryce vanished into a cloud of magical smoke, and in his place, a netherite golem rose to its full towering height.
Greetings. I am the netherite golem, and I will be sacrificing today.
The other golems told me that baddies like you were bad news. Put up your big netherite dukes, and let's have a good clean fight, said the spider to the golem. I ice blasted my opponent and scurried around, avoiding his attacks. I used my invisibility to sneak in close and attack with my iron sword. The netherite golem was very strong, and he managed to hit me a couple times, dealing many hearts of damage. But I had hearts to spare now, and this fight was far from over. From day 50 to day 53, we briefly stopped to talk.
You're going to be sacrificed, ice spider. I'm going to crack you like ice, and then squash you like a spider.
Oh yeah? Well, you're a netherite golem, and, never mind, I can't think of anything. I fired off a couple of ice blasts, then I used my iron sword to hit the netherite golem. With one more ice blast, I froze the netherite golem and brought the fight to a close with a sword strike. Netherite golem dispersed, leaving behind some mystical diamonds, which were stronger than any material I had gathered thus far. I better hang on to these so I can make a powerful tool out of these diamonds later. With the netherite golem defeated, I felt some of Necromancer Bryce's magic leaving the Great Lake Isles. From day 54 to day 57, I found the other evil golem that had chosen to serve Necromancer Bryce, the Endstone Golem, the exact golem that the library golem had sent me out to fight. This mean Endstone fighting machine was just as tough as the netherite golem I had fought before, so I knew I had to use similar strategies to take it down. Ice Spider Zozo, Golem Slayer! My invisibility proved to be a great way of avoiding attacks, and a mixture of Ice Blast and Iron Sword attacks sealed the deal! Both of the Golem defectors have been defeated now. I can feel the Great Lake Isles are peaceful now. I returned to my base in the glowing ancient forest so that I could tell the tale of my victory to the library golem.
Well done, Ice Spider Zozo. Without his golems, Necromancer Bryce has lost a major facet of his evil forces. The destruction of the entire world is that much closer to being avoided.
I'm just doing my part to stop the spell.
In anticipation of your return, I did some research into the original spellbooks that contain the destruction spell. It says that the ice spider needed for the spell must come from the Ice Spikes biome. Have you ever been there before, Zozo?
Not that I can recall, but if it's my homeland, maybe I can learn something more about the spell by going there someday. From day 58 to day 62, I used the mystical diamonds that had been dropped by the netherite golem to make myself a diamond sword. Once crafted, the librarian gave me a Frostwalker enchantment book to enchant my new diamond sword with frost. What a neat enchantment, and very fitting for an ice spider. I guess magic comes naturally to me. Because of my new sword, I was inspired to seek out more diamonds down in the mine. Using my iron pickaxe, I dredged up a few more diamonds and made myself a diamond pickaxe. I decided that was enough mining for now, and I came back to see that the living area looked much nicer, and there was even a brand new fireplace. Illusioner Alan was standing by the fireplace, feeling its warmth. It looks amazing here. Is this an illusion?
I'm always telling you, Zozo, magic can't do everything. These changes to the base are 100% real.
Wow, thanks, Alan.
Building this base was such a great idea. I really like living here, so I'm glad I could make it better for everyone.
From day 63 to day 66, I was doing some more diamond mining when the gorilla who lives in my base came to visit me.
Hey, Zozo, the librarian golem told me that you're originally from the Ice Spikes. I actually know how to get there.
You do? Well, that's great. I have been meaning to take a trip out there at some point.
I'll give you the directions. Maybe you'll find out if you've got any family out there.
Following the gorilla's directions, I made my way to the ice spikes. I didn't see any ice spiders, but maybe I would meet a friendly face if I looked around. But the first face I saw didn't appear to be that friendly. It was a mountaineer with a wicked gleam in his eyes. I'm warning you, buddy. You don't want to mess with this ice spider. I have the home field advantage.
I don't want to fight you. This gleam in my eye is the gleam of adventure. I'm Mountaineer Monty, and I'm looking to climb the tallest peak in the ice spikes.
The tallest peak? I bet I could see everything from up there. Count me in.
Perfect! With an ice spider helping me up, I'll be able to get to the top of the tallest peak in no time.
From day 67 to day 70, I joined Mountaineer Monty, and we both climbed around on the ice spikes together, searching for the tallest peak. How will we know if the ice spike that we're climbing is the tallest or not, Monty?
We won't know until we get to the top. Keep on crawling on these walls, ice spider.
We went higher and higher until we found a ledge on the side of an even taller peak. Could this be the one? That's when a leap leaf jumped down from the upper ledges and started to attack. I fired an ice blast at the mob, but it dodged away. This leap leaf was faster than I expected, so I'd have to outsmart it. I turned invisible and waited for the leap leaf to land on the ground. I dashed in and hit it with my diamond sword, dealing a bunch of damage. The moment it jumped, I fired an ice blast directly at it, defeating it for good. Mountaineer Monty was impressed with my win.
That was great! And also leap leaves only live on the tallest peak, so we must be there.
Let's keep on climbing so we can find out. Within a few minutes, we had risen to the top of the entire ice spikes biome. This was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen in all my days as an ice spider.
Thank you for being here with me.
Down below, I saw what looked like the lair of a necromancer, a wicked and terrible base. Necromancer Bryce must be here in the ice spikes. Did he find me here? From day 71 to day 74, I descended the peak of the tallest mountain and began to travel through the ice spikes in the direction of the evil lair. I never expected my history with Bryce would go back so far. I need to find out why his lair is here, what happened to the other ice spiders, and of course, how I can save the world from destruction. And if you want to help me save the world, remember to search Zozo to find more of my adventures. Make sure to tell me what you want me to play as next. Down at the base of the mountain, I wandered through a snowy blizzard, only to be confronted by Necromancer Bryce.
You've returned home, Ice Spider Zozo, but it's not your home anymore. It's my home, and soon there will be nobody home in the entire world.
Your destruction spell will never work, Bryce. Not as long as I survive without being sacrificed. I drew my sword and turned invisible, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Necromancer Bryce only laughed. He was not threatened by me at all.
Foolish Zozo! You don't understand what it means that I am here in the ice spikes. It means that I've already sacrificed another ice spider. My spell is secure.
I froze in place, not from the cold, but from the shock of what Bryce had said. No, you already sacrificed an ice spider, you evil monster! Bryce turned toward the spell and blasted me with a powerful spell that took off almost all of my heart. He was about to fire off another, so I ran away as fast as I could. From day 75 to day 78, I scurried back to the base and immediately shut myself away in the coldest room of the base. I had failed. The whole point of going to the ice spikes was to learn more about my origin. But now, I had learned something that made me feel completely hopeless. The entire world really was going to be destroyed, and there was nothing I could do to stop it.
Never say never, Zozo.
It was the librarian golem. They had come to visit me in my time of regret. But all of the other ice spiders are gone. Necromancer Bryce sacrificed them.
I don't think that's exactly what has happened, Zozo. Bryce was trying to catch you off guard so he could sacrifice you. He still needs you for his place, and when he comes for you, we'll be ready.
The librarian golem showed me a watchtower that had been installed on the base. It would be an ideal countermeasure to any intruding undead sent by Bryce. Thanks, library golem. And you're right, the world isn't doomed yet. Later on, I consulted Illusioner Alan to see what magical spells he had been working on during my travels.
Zozo, I have used all of my magic to create this Kaitha. It is a weapon that will make you unstoppable in battle.
Thank you. That's exactly what I need. The moment I took the Kyther, I felt a great surge of power within me. I grew into the ultimate ice spider, the true king of the ice spikes. I had 100 hearts and the ability to warp short distances, combining that ability with my invisibility to really catch enemies off guard. From day 79 to day 84, I made my way back to the ice spikes, trusting that the transformation brought on by Illusioner Alan's spell would give me the ultimate power, and that the library golem wasn't wrong about there being more to learn about my past. In my mighty ice spider form, nothing in the ice spikes could rival my strength. Some specters tried to swoop down and challenge me, but I effortlessly destroyed them with my ice blasts. I traveled some more through the cold biome of the ice spikes, eventually finding an Iceologer native to this region. Hello there, Iceologer.
Please, call me Iceologer Ike.
It's quite nice to meet a spider of ice. There used to be a lot more of you protecting the ice spikes.
So I've heard. That was before the necromancer sacrificed them.
Oh, there was no sacrifice. Your ancestors fought against him bravely, down to the last spider. I kept one of their helmets too. You should have it.
Ike gave me a diamond helmet, which I proudly equipped. I guess there really was more to the story than I thought. From day 85 to day 89, my base was attacked by the skeleton vanguard. I arrived just in time to fend them off with weapons and ice blasts.
Spider of ice, the time has come for sacrifice.
Ha! That confirms it! You still need a sacrifice, and I'm the last spider standing. You'll never take me out. With the confidence I had developed in my ultimate ice spider form, I demolished the skeleton vanguard one by one, until the last of them went running back to the ice spikes.
Spider of ice, your sacrifice will now be done by Necromancer Bryce.
I'd like to see him try. I chased the skeleton vanguard to the edge of my base, where he kept running onward. It was there that I met a fungus thrower, who was standing next to a dugout pool of water.
Oh, please, Ice Spider Zozo! My swimming pool is way too warm! Can you provide an ice blast to cool it off?
Why, certainly, my fungus-throwing friend. I shot the pool with an ice blast, freezing it over. Oops, sorry, now it's more of an ice rink.
No, I like this better. I'll call my friends and we'll play some hockey.
From day 90 to day 94, I followed the skeleton vanguard through the ice spikes all the way to the necropolis where Necromancer Bryce would be waiting for me.
Bryce, we need your advice.
As the skeleton vanguard approached the necropolis, it was obliterated by an attack from an armored pillager.
Never send a skeleton to do my job.
And what is your job?
Killing spiders by the dozen. Me and the rest of my pillager crew fought the ice spiders in this area back when they dared to defy Necromancer Bryce.
You mean that it was you who wiped out all the rest of the ice spiders, and you're working for Bryce? I'm going to freeze on you! I fired several ice blasts, but the armored pillager tanked them all and hit me with the same powerful attack they'd used to destroy the skeleton vanguard. It dealt a decent amount of damage, so I warped away to avoid taking more.
I faced many ice spiders just as big as you.
But you've never faced me! Gathering my courage, I warped back and swung my diamond sword into the armored pillager, returning the damage I took and then some. From day 95 to day 97, the armored pillager still wouldn't let up, and I was starting to see that his claims of taking down all the other ice spiders wasn't all talk. My ice blasts weren't very effective, so I mostly relied on my sword strikes to deal damage. My warp and invisibility powers helped me dodge most of the armored pillager's attacks so that I could hold onto my hearts.
Why can't you let me crush you like those other worthless ice spiders?
It's time you learned that those lives you trampled were never worthless. I warped all around the armored pillager and barraged him with sword attacks until he collapsed at long last.
Darn it, you have beaten me. Truth is, you spiders fought very well. I was the only survivor among the pillagers.
If you lost everyone too, why are you being such a mean guy about it? We could have talked this out.
Necromancer Bryce was going to destroy the world anyway. We thought we had to listen to him, or he'd destroy us first. That Bryce is ruthless beyond anything you've seen. After he hired us pillagers to wipe out the spiders, he had them save one remaining ice spider egg so that he could use the ice spider that hatched for his destruction spell. That ice spider must have been you.
The armored pillager died, leaving behind a key to the lair. At that moment, I realized I had avenged my people. Well, almost. Bryce stole me away, planned to use me for his spell, and destroy the world I've only now come to know. I will stop him! On day 98, I returned to the base to heal my injuries from the battle with the armored pillager. So much had happened since I started my journey, and we were only a couple days from the day that the destruction spell would end the world. But the words that carried me all this way still rang in my ears. As long as I survive, it isn't over. I spoke to the librarian Golem, who was also hopeful about our chances of stopping the destruction spell.
No sacrifice was made, and if you defeat Bryce, he'll never be able to cast another destruction spell. This could be your chance to save the entire world.
I will do it, for the world and for all the ice spiders that fought bravely against him. I wanted to make sure the powers of my magically induced final form were stable, so I went to Illusioner Alan to confirm. Your magical Kyther seems to be working, Alan.
Oh, Zozo, what have I always said? Magic can't do everything. You took that form on your own. My great illusion was convincing you that my weapon was the reason.
Wow, I didn't expect that. You truly are a skilled illusioner, Alan. But I didn't leave the base without any new gear. The gorilla made sure I had full diamond armor for the battle with Necromancer Bryce.
You're a hero, Ice Spider Zozo. I really wish I could have met more ice spiders.
As long as there's a world, there's a way. I'll make sure the world is safe after I stop Bryce.
Go get that evil creep. Remember the path I showed you through the Gravelly Mountains.
On day 99, I was traveling through the Gravelly Mountains toward the ice spikes on my way to the showdown with Necromancer Bryce. I was intercepted by a whole bunch of skeleton vanguards who seemed really eager to sacrifice me as always. Bryce really rolled out the welcome mat early, huh?
Spider of ice, spider of ice, must we say it thrice? It has to be time for your sacrifice.
Even though my strength, my hearts, my gear, and my magic all surpassed theirs, the skeleton vanguards descended on me in great numbers. They're slowing me down. I won't be able to reach Bryce by the day of destruction. I had to retreat as quickly as I could. That's when I ran into the Mountaineer, and he wanted to fight those nasty skeletons for me so I could take down the big boss who started it all.
Go on now, Ice Spider. We climbed the tallest peak together. Now face your greatest challenge with pride.
On day 100, I used the key to the lair and entered the inner sanctum of Necromancer Bryce.
The day of destruction is at hand, and here you are, allowing yourself to be sacrificed.
There will be no sacrifice and no destruction. We traded a series of blasts, his Necromancy Blast and my Ice Blast. We each took a bit of damage, then I turned invisible. You crushed my people, but I'm taking back the Ice Spikes and the entire world from your evil.
You would fight to protect a world that took away your family?
The world didn't do that, Necromancer Bryce. That was you! I reappeared and attacked his blind spot with my diamond sword. He began charging up his most powerful spell yet. It was the same spell he almost defeated me with the last time we fought. Necromancer Bryce let the spell of doom fly at me. I waited until the very last second, then I used my warp ability to move out of the way and appear right behind him. You missed me, and now it's over for you. I swung my diamond sword repeatedly with all my might, destroying the Necromancer before he could destroy anything else. This world would live on, and so would I. On day 1, I spawned in as an elemental shark in the middle of a tropical rainforest. And before I could understand what any of that even meant, I was surrounded by a gang of terrifying fire elementals, led by a massive magma golem.
Looks like we got him, boss. The last elemental who wouldn't bend the knee for ya.
What? I feel like I'm missing something here. Everyone laughed at me for saying that, and it definitely didn't make me feel good. The magma golem was the only one who remained steely and serious.
I think I'm missing something too. I'm missing the part where you swore absolute loyal to me, Magnus, the Magma Golem, Lord of the Elementals.
Who made you Lord of the Elementals? I've never even heard of you.
I made myself the Lord, and if you don't bow to me, I'll make you into Shark Elemental Sushi.
I think I'd rather make myself scarce. Before the Magma Golem or his fire elementals could attack me, I used one of my elemental powers to warp out of there and run away as fast as I could. As if this day wasn't stressful enough, as I was running away, I got incredibly hungry and didn't have any food. Could this get any worse? The only food I could find in the tropical rainforest was some apples, but it was being guarded by an angry earth elemental. Would you be down to share one of those apples with me?
No, these apples can only be enjoyed by servants of Magnus, Lord of the Elementals.
Is there anyone around here who doesn't work for this guy? I fought the earth elemental with my bare fins until I gave up and ran away. Finally, I was able to at least enjoy an apple. This is the one nice thing that's happened to me today. What's going on here? On day 2, I kept running through the tropical forest until I was convinced I'd lost the Magma Golem and his nasty gang of fire elementals. If there's one thing I can be sure of in this crazy, confusing world, it's that those guys are bad news. When I felt safe, I punched down one of the trees and made myself a wooden pickaxe. And with that, it wasn't hard to mine down into the ground and collect myself enough stone blocks to get started on a base. I think after all this craziness, I've really earned a roof over my head tonight. I used the stone and wood I collected to start building a base with a basic bedroom and living area, complete with a sofa and a couch. I also made myself a stone sword and a stone pickaxe. It wasn't much, but at least it was something. As long as that awful magma golem doesn't come and try to burn it down. But I soon wished I hadn't said that, because a few of the magma golem's fire elementals came blazing through the forest towards me.
You thought you could escape us, didn't you, kid? Nobody escapes Magnus or his minions. Sooner or later, you're gonna give in to his demands or be destroyed.
But why would I want to work for a guy like him? What is he even planning?
You're not important enough to know that. Come on, boys, let's torch him.
The fire elementals came for me, and I used my stone sword to fight them back until they were nothing more than ashes. I still don't understand what's happening here. What is this Magnus guy planning, and what part do I play in all of this? You better watch to the end if you want to help me find out. On day 3, I decided it was time to investigate what was going on. After all, if I didn't know the truth, I was at a disadvantage. I started exploring around the tropical rainforest until I found someone who wanted to talk to me about it, and that someone just so happened to be a scary-looking monster mushroom named Fungo. To my surprise, he was friendly. Please, Fungo, tell me about what the deal is with Magnus, the so-called Lord of the Elements. He's been hassling me ever since I spawned here.
That makes a lot of sense. You're a shock elemental, right? And as his name suggests, Magnus, the Lord of the Elementals, wants to get control of as many of the elementals as he can. And if you want to get them too, chances are the only way you're going to be able to do it is by taking the fight to him.
Defeat Magnus? Maybe if I get stronger I could do that, but why? I don't understand why he's doing this.
Well, take a seat on that log over there, buddy, 'cause that's a much longer and wilder story.
So I did as I was told and sat down, but nothing could prepare me for what I was about to hear. From day 4 to day 5, I sat down and listened to the story Fungo the Monster Mushroom told me about Magnus the Magma Golem.
First, you need to understand that golems are always created by villagers. They are not natural creatures, and as such, they are completely at odds with the natural elements of the world. But when Magnus was created, he learned to hate his own unnaturalness. He was so frustrated by it that he wanted to conquer the elements and make them work for him. One by one, he subdued the fire elementals, the earth elementals, the air elementals, and the water elementals. Through their allegiance, he may be able to control all the forces of the natural world. And in order to defeat him before he becomes too powerful, you'll need to master all 4 of the elements and gain their powers.
Oh, just like in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Wait, you've seen Avatar? Sweet, that's gonna make all of this a lot easier to understand. Be careful out there, Zozo. If you can get strong enough and gain all these powers, you can save us all. But to help with the learning process, you'll need to find a mentor.
Do you know where I can find one?
Nope. Good luck.
From day 6 to day 8, with all the new information that Fungo the Monster Mushroom had given me stewing around in my head, I started making my way back to my base. So, I need to find a mentor. How can I track one down? It's not like they have a directory website, but my frustration and self-pity was interrupted by seeing an innocent swamp pig being picked on by more of those evil fire elementals.
Please, guys, leave me alone. I'm just doing my daily exercise.
Little piggy's trying to exercise. Hilarious. We can help you warm up.
Oh yeah, we'll fry your bacon. These are extremely insensitive jokes, guys. Please leave me alone.
But I knew they'd never leave that poor swamp pig alone. Not unless I made them. That's why I pulled out my stone sword and ran in to fight them off. Leave that innocent pig alone, you meanies! It didn't take me long to defeat them all and rescue the swamp pig from a fiery doom. Needless to say, he was relieved.
Thank you, kind stranger. I'm Sammy the swamp pig. You have done me a great kindness today, and I'll never forget it.
No problem, Sammy. I'm Zozo, by the way. Say, do you have any idea where I might find a mentor? I really need one to help me save the world.
Well, I did hear rumors about a great teacher who lived near water somewhere, but that's all I know. Still, I want to help you, Zozo. I really owe you one.
How about you come back to my base? I could really use some allies right now. I led Sammy the Swamp Pig back into my base and started building a new room in my base for him to stay in. And make sure you keep watching until the end, because the craziest parts are yet to come. From day 9 to day 10, I found a huge underground cavern in the tropical rainforest where I could search for rarer materials. The deeper and darker I descended in, the more veins of iron ore I found. I mined and collected the iron ore and then constructed a furnace underground to smelt into iron ingots. Now it's time to make myself some awesome new equipment. I made a set of iron armor, an iron sword, and an iron pickaxe. And not a second too soon, as I heard something terrifying skittering around in the dark. I turned and saw a giant skulk scorpion crawling towards me, looking like it was ready to attack. And it turned out that it actually was! I tried to attack it with my iron sword, but it didn't seem to have much of an effect on the monster, which was as strong and fast as it was angry. In the end, I needed to use my location warping ability to zap out of there and run deeper into the darkness of the underground cavern. Can't see how this would ever end badly. From day 11 to day 12, all I could do was try to hide deeper in the underground cavern and hope that the skulk scorpion didn't find me down there. How am I gonna save the world from a powerful magma golem if I can't even defeat a nasty underground bug? Deep in the dark, my greatest enemy wasn't the skulk scorpion or even Magnus, the lord of the elementals. It was just pure boredom. So when I found a dusty old book, you can only imagine how relieved I was. I certainly never expected that this book would contain the secret to Magnus's rise to power. It was filled with strange Latin text, but then I opened the book to a section called the 3 Enforcers. It described 3 terrifying and powerful golems who worked for Magnus: the Bone Golem, the Diamond Golem, and the Bedrock Golem. These 3 golems were vital for keeping all the elementals in line, and if I was able to defeat all 3 of the Enforcer golems, Magnus's control over elementals would probably collapse. Now I know what I need to do. If I defeat the 3 Enforcers, defeating Magnus afterwards would be easy. But I was celebrating a little too loudly. Suddenly, a vicious fire salamander, a powerful underworld creature, ran towards me. He was a tough mob to defeat since he shot flames at me. He had something that looked like an organic turret protruding from his back. A truly bizarre and scary mob, but with the knowledge of what I needed to do fueling me, I was able to do it. And this gave me enough XP to level up, becoming a bigger, stronger elemental shark with 18 hearts and the ability to breathe fire. Looks like I've mastered 1 element, 3 to go. Keep watching to see what I evolve into next. From day 13 to day 15, I returned to my base, bigger and stronger than ever before. And when I was back, I saw that Sammy the Swamp Pig had made an awesome addition to the base while I was gone, a whole new floor. Whoa, Sammy, this room looks so cool. What exactly is it?
Look, it's a lounge area, Zozo. You need to stay relaxed if you want to be in harmony with the 4 elements.
An excellent idea, Sammy. Do you have any news on where I might be able to find the mentor I've been searching for too?
I've heard of some strange activity near a pond deep in the tropical rainforest. Maybe that has something to do with it.
On Sammy's advice, I ventured out deeper into the tropical rainforest until I found the pond and what looked like a crimson wizard waiting outside it.
Stay back, Elemental! I will not serve your master!
He fired an energy blast at me that took off a few of my hearts and prepared to fire another. Wait, you don't understand. I'm an elemental, but I don't work for Magnus. I'm trying to defeat him. I'm just looking for a mentor that will help train me to stop him.
Oh, I see. Sorry about firing an energy blast at you there, old chap. You can't be too careful these days with Magnus and his minions around.
It's okay, I understand. So, can you mentor me, Mr. Wizard?
I'm afraid that isn't my area of expertise, but I also wish to stop the diabolical Magnus. You and I can work together to make that a reality.
It never hurts to have magic on your side, I guess. Come on back to my base with me. Let's work together.
Lead the way, Elemental Shark.
I set off back towards my base with 1 more ally in tow. From day 16 to day 19, I returned to my base with the Crimson Wizard. Because Sammy the Swamp Pig figured I might be returning with a mentor, he'd already built a room for the Crimson Wizard. My base is practically becoming a hotel. I should start charging people.
I'd be happy to pay. This room looks wonderful.
Before you get too comfortable, Crimson Wizard, I need some advice. Do you have any idea where I should go next in my quest to master the elements and take on Magnus?
Good question, Zozo. Personally, I would suggest the Mojave Desert. To master all the elements, you must first experience them all.
That sounds like a good idea to me. Time to go. After a couple days of traveling, I'd reached the Mojave Desert and started searching around for any clues as to what I needed to do next. The last thing I expected was to run into a talking desert cat. Hey, little kitty, do you have any idea what I can do to help defeat Magnus, Lord of the Elementals?
No. Magnus? You mean the magma golem? I think some of his henchmen are around here, just a little further west in this very desert. Maybe go defeat them, and I'll see whatever information I can provide afterwards.
That's so convenient. Thank you, Desert Cat. From day 20 to day 22, following the cat's instructions, I went further west into the Mojave Desert. It didn't take me long to find a gang of rowdy air elementals who were just itching for a fight.
Hey, look! It's that elemental shark who defied the orders of Lord Magnus.
Yep, that's me, but I'm not here for you small fries. That'd be a waste of my time.
Small fries? Oh, buddy, you are gonna regret saying that.
They flew over to attack me, but I was ready. With my iron sword, I cut them down and defeated each one of them until I was the last one standing. Or so I thought. Turned out, one of Magnus's head enforcers, the Bone Golem, had been sneaking up behind me. I turned just as the Bone Golem hit me, taking off a shocking number of hearts. Immediately, I was fighting for my life, striking him with my iron sword, but it wasn't having any effect. He was so confident, he started throwing his own bones at me. I needed to pull out the big guns and use my elemental powers on this nasty, overgrown skeleton. Fire breath, go! I breathed a powerful jet of flames onto the Bone Golem, finally defeating him. And with that, I was a third of the way to bringing down Magnus and his Empire of Evil. From day 23 to day 26, I went back to tell the Desert Cat about my success. Hey, little kitty, I found those henchmen, and I kicked their butts.
Meow, that's great news. Those jerks kept making crazy wind and messing up my fur. Now I can nap in peace without worrying about any air elementals bothering me.
So, what can you tell me about Magnus, and how can I defeat him?
Well, Magnus doesn't like to fight his own fights. He prefers to have his henchmen take care of that for him. So if you can defeat all of his elemental goons, he won't have anyone left to fight for him, and he'll have to face you himself.
I guess I just need to make sure I'm strong enough when the time comes.
Meow, that sounds about right. Oh, before I forget, maybe you can use this.
The cat gave me a potion of power. Thanks, I can definitely use this.
Glad to hear it. Now scram! It's my nap time, and I just found the perfect sunny spot.
You got it. I left the cat and continued walking through the desert until I found a new area. When I got there, I was jumped by some earth elementals.
Say, it's the wise guy who thinks he can defy Lord Magnus. Let's get him, boys.
Not if I get you first. Fire breath, go! I blew a blast of fire at the earth elementals and followed it up with an attack with my iron sword. Pretty soon, all but one of the earth elementals was defeated.
Wait, if you let me go, I can give you some information.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Lord Magnus's headquarters is guarded by earth, air, and water elementals. Is that helpful?
Yeah, get out of here. He ran away, and I took the moment of victory to drink my potion of power. When I did, I gained 24 hearts, evolving into an even bigger version of myself. And I gained the Earth ability. I can shoot an Earth charge that leaves behind a pile of dirt on the ground. Looks like I just mastered Earth. 2 down, 2 to go. From day 27 to day 31, I headed back to my base. On the way there, I passed the pond again. There was a diamond golem there, waiting for me. He attacked me, and I tried to fight back, but he was way too strong. In the end, I had to run away before he dealt me too much damage. Oh, that was a close one. I was scared he'd chase after me, but finally I made it back to my base, safe and sound.
Wow, Zozo, look at you. You're so big and strong.
Indeed, your stature is most impressive.
Thanks, guys, but I'm not done yet. I've still got 2 elements left to master, and I need to get way stronger if I'm gonna defeat Magnus.
Still, you must take time to celebrate how far you have already come. Speaking of progress, I have a sense that there is something useful to you waiting at a nearby location, the Rainbow Beach.
Then I'd better get going and see what it is. From day 32 to day 35, I traveled to the Rainbow Beach to see what the wizard might have sensed out there. I sure wish magic would be more specific. Oh well, I guess that's just how magic is. As I was looking around, I spotted an iron golem up ahead. Hey there, do you know anything about Magnus?
Don't you ever say that name to me! How dare you bring him up in my presence!
Oh, wait, I didn't mean to offend you. Before I could explain, he attacked me. I drew my sword and fought back, but he was really strong. Turns out though, so was I. After fighting for a while, it became pretty clear that we were evenly matched. Please, let's stop this and just talk.
You're lucky I'm getting tired. Fine, talk.
I get the feeling you don't like Magnus much.
Don't like him? That's an understatement. We used to be best friends a long time ago. One day though, he started getting obsessed with the elements. He wanted to control them, all of them. And when I tried to argue with him, elementals think they're so great. Huh. See how great they think they are when I find a way to control every element. What's wrong with you having one specialty? All I do is iron, but you don't see me complaining. That's because you're a loser, and I don't need to spend my time with losers. If you're not with me, you're against me. He knocked me out and left. I never saw him again. Pretty soon, I started hearing about what he was getting up to, and I realized that the friend I used to know was gone. His jealousy and hunger for power turned him into a villain.
That's terrible. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to master all the elements too, but it's so I can beat him and stop him from hurting people.
If that's true, then that is a noble goal. I wish you luck, Mr. Shark.
Thanks. The name's Zozo. From day 36 to day 39, I traveled back to the tropical rainforest. I really need to upgrade my armor. Let's see what I can find here.
If armor upgrades you do seek, then it is to me that you should speak.
Who's there? And why are you rhyming? A monster mushroom jumped out from behind a tree.
Sorry, when I get nervous I talk in rhymes. I know where you can get some upgrades. Lord Magnus's base is empty right now, and there are plenty of supplies to be found in there. It's not like he deserves them. You might as well take them.
Sounds good to me, but where's his base?
In the swamp surrounded by lava. Do me a favor though, if you see a big mean fire elemental running with a gang of other fiery jerks, would you defeat him for me? He tried to hurt me, and I'd rather he not get a chance to try again.
You got it! Thanks for the help! Following the monster mushroom's directions, I managed to make my way to the swamps and Magnus's base. From day 40 to day 43, I fought my way into Magnus's base. There was only a few wither skeleton guards, and it was easy to beat them. Then, I ran inside. Jeez, this place really suits the guy. It looks as mean as he is. I didn't have much time to look around because the diamond golem from earlier was inside. Uh-oh, this guy again. I've got to do a better job this time. I started with my fire breath, then followed it up with a sword attack. It was pretty tough, and I wasn't sure if I would be able to do it. But finally, I was able to defeat him. When the diamond golem fell, he dropped a whole bunch of diamonds. This is just what I need. Now I can go back to the base and upgrade my gear. I grabbed all the diamonds. Now I've got to get out of here before Magnus gets back. I may be a lot stronger than I used to be, but I'm still not ready to face him. Maybe with some upgraded armor and weapons though, I'll be closer to my goal. From day 44 to day 49, I traveled back to my base and got to work on upgrading my armor and weapons. Using all of the diamonds I got from that diamond golem, I was able to craft a diamond pickaxe, a diamond sword, and some diamond armor. Awesome, look at all this stuff. I feel more powerful already. Okay, back to exploring. I need to see what else I can do to improve and work toward mastering those last two elements. I headed out into the rainforest and started exploring. As I did, I came across a group of fire elementals. They didn't see me at first, but I could hear them.
You guys remember that loser mushroom that got away from us before? I think I know where we can find him and finish the job.
Nice! He was so pathetic! Let's go get him!
That's the fire elemental he was talking about. If I fight and defeat these guys, he won't have to worry about them anymore.
Wait, there's some shocky freak listening to us. That's the guy the boss told us about.
Yup, and I'm here to kick your butts. Using my new diamond sword, I was able to defeat those fire elementals in no time. This new gear sure is great. I can't wait to see the look on Magnus's face when he realizes I'm finally strong enough to take him down. But I can't get ahead of myself. I gotta focus on mastering water and air. Time to get moving. From day 50 to day 53, I traveled into the Red Rock Highlands to seek out new ways to master the elements. I feel like the Highlands can teach me air stuff, right? That seems right. Or maybe water. Is there water here? As I explored, I came across an open book lying on the ground. Inside it said, "I'm gentle enough to wash your hair, light enough to fly through the sky, strong enough to crack rocks." What am I? That doesn't make any sense. How can one thing wash hair, fly in the air, and break rocks? I don't get it. It took me a little while to think about it, but suddenly it came to me. Wait a second, it's water!
That's right, Zozo.
An earth elemental jumped out at me.
Guess you're smarter than you look. Too bad you'll never get a chance to master water because Lord Magnus sent me to take you out.
Out to dinner?
No, out of this world.
Oh no! I got my diamond sword ready and started swinging. I followed it up with some fire breath and the earth elemental crumbled. After the fight, I could feel myself getting bigger and stronger. I'm evolving again! As I got stronger, I gained more hearts. Now I have 35 of them. I also gained the Ice Blast ability. I can freeze enemies in place with this. I guess I finally mastered water. Only one more to go! From day 54 to day 57, I returned to my base. The Crimson Wizard had a surprise for me. He built some protective walls around the base while I was gone.
As a token of appreciation for letting me stay at your home rent-free, I thought I might work on our defenses a little bit.
These walls look really nice. I feel safer already. Thanks!
No problem.
Now I'm feeling pretty good, but I know I need to get stronger and master the fourth and final element. I need some help. I wonder if there's anyone who can mentor me. I looked around the base for ideas, but as awesome as my new friends were, none of them would be able to teach me about fighting. Wait a second, that iron golem I met before was really tough and cool. I should go ask him if he can help me. I returned to the place where I met the iron golem and sure enough, he was there. Hey, it's me, Zozo. Remember me?
I do. How is your quest to master the elements and defeat Magnus going?
I've got 3 out of 4 down, but I still need to get stronger. Would you train me?
Train you to take down Magnus? It would be an honor. Let's get to work, Zozo.
From day 58 to day 62, I started my training with the Iron Golem. He set up a wall of blocks for me.
You see these blocks? Break them without touching them.
I'll try my best. I used my fire breath to break the blocks.
Now try to dodge my attacks.
He ran at me and attacked, and I dodged. He had me do a bunch of different challenges and training exercises. I had to run up and down the beach, go out into the water and swim back, and test out all my new powers. By the time I was done, I was exhausted, but I also gained more strength. Sweet! This will help my sword hit even harder. But I haven't mastered air yet.
Not yet, but you've made some great progress. I'm proud of you.
Thanks for all your help. You've been a great mentor. From day 63 to day 66, I went back to my base. When I got there, I saw a group of water elementals running away from the base. What the? Oh no! They had destroyed my base and destroyed some of the walls.
Zozo, help! These miscreants kidnapped the swamp pig!
No! I was able to catch up with one of the water elementals and I hit him with my pile of dirt. Tell me where they took my friend or I'll hit you again.
Zoinks! Don't do that! They took the pig to Lord Magnus's base. There's a prison cell attached to it. They're gonna throw him in there.
And I've got to get over there too. No time to waste. I need to save my friend. I let the water elemental go and set off toward the Wailing Garth to rescue the swamp pig. From day 67 to day 70, I traveled to Magnus's base on a swamp pig rescue mission. When I reached the swamps, I saw a big cage in the base, and there was the swamp pig trapped inside. Don't worry, I'll get you out of there.
Yeah, right. You'll have to go through us first.
The water elementals closed in around me, but I had a plan. Maybe I should give you guys the cold shoulder. I fired my Ice Blast ability at the water elementals, freezing them in place. Then I used my diamond sword to take them out, one by one. The last water elemental dropped a key to the cage. Now let's get you free. I used the key to unlock the cage and let the swamp pig out.
Thank you, Zozo. I knew you'd save me.
What are friends for? Now let's get out of here before Magnus comes back. We ran back to the base together, and much to my surprise, when we got back, all the damage was fixed. Wow, who did this?
I did. I also added some guard towers so we can see threats coming if any more of Magnus's henchmen decide to attack us again.
Awesome, thank you so much. From day 71 to day 74, I wasn't sure what to do next. Can I learn about how to master air? I just don't know. Wait a second, there was that Skulk Scorpion I couldn't fight before. I bet I could beat him now. Maybe then I'll figure out what to do next. With my new plan to fight the Skulk Scorpion, I headed down into the underground cavern. Hello, Mr. Scorpion, are you down here still? Sure enough, there it was! The scorpion ran at me and tried to sting me with its stinger, but I fought back with a fire breath and my sword. Then I used my ice blast to freeze it and follow up with the sword to finish it off. I did it! I did it! Hey, look at this! There was a book on the ground. The Book of Exposition. What's it say? The answers you seek lie deeper in the cavern, but there you must face the bedrock golem. Well, who am I to argue with a random book? Let's go! From day 75 to day 78, I followed the instructions from the Book of Exposition and headed deeper into the underground cavern. There, I saw a group of earth elementals and a big bedrock golem behind them. Before I could say anything or attack, the earth elementals spotted me.
I've had enough of this clown. Why don't you just give up already?
Because what Magnus is doing is wrong, and I can't just stand by and let him get away with it.
Okay, then don't stand by. Just stand. Die.
The earth elementals rushed at me, but I was ready for them. I fought them with my diamond sword. Once they were all gone, I turned my attention to the bedrock golem. Now it's your turn. He was much tougher than the earth elementals. In fact, he was tougher than anyone else I had fought so far. I had to use all of my special abilities to knock him down and out of his misery. That was a relief, and good, because I felt myself evolving again. My hearts increased to 80, and I gained the ability Whirlwind Attack. I did it! I mastered air! I've got to tell everyone! From day 79 to day 84, I ran back to the base to deliver the good news. Hey, look! Look! I showed my friends my new evolved form and tested out my Whirlwind Attack for them.
Wow, Zozo, you're amazing!
Most impressive.
So now what should I do?
Excellent question, my friend. I believe the answers await us at the Red Rock Highlands. Shall we go there now?
Yes, let's go! From day 85 to day 89, the Crimson Wizard and I traveled to the Red Rock Highlands. Okay, we're here. Now what?
Let me see. I had hoped the Highlands would reveal the truth to me when we arrived, but it remains unclear. Perhaps we should see if we can acquire any additional items that might allow you to upgrade your gear?
Sure, why not? Together, we searched the area for cool items. I found some more diamonds and gathered them up. From day 90 to day 94, I was gathering diamonds while the Crimson Wizard headed back to the base. All of a sudden, Magnus appeared behind me.
Still haven't given up yet, I see.
Nope, and I never will. I finally mastered all the elements, and I'm coming for ya.
Oh yeah? How are you going to do that from underground?
What? What are you talking about?
The one element you haven't mastered. The element of surprise.
Magnus hit me hard, knocking my diamonds out of my hands. Then he got me again, knocking me out cold. When I woke up, I was in an underground chamber. Oh no, I'm trapped in here. What should I do? Wait a second, Magnus didn't count on me still having this iron pickaxe. I'll use it to tunnel out of here. I wasn't sure how long I'd been out, so I had to work fast and make up for lost time. I dug faster than I'd ever dug before, until I broke through to the surface. Nice try, Magnus, but you can't get rid of me that easily. From day 95 to day 97, I started making my way back to my base. On the way, I was ambushed by a group of Earth Elementals.
See? I told the boss burying him wouldn't work. Weeds always grow back.
I'm not a weed, I'm an elemental shark, and I'm stronger than you, and I'll prove it. I fought back, and with my mastery of all 4 elements, it didn't take long for me to beat them. I finished my fight with the Whirlwind Attack and blew them away. Awesome! Okay, no time to celebrate yet. I've got to get back to the base. On day 98, I finally made my way back to my base.
Zozo, where have you been?
We were worried about you.
Magnus surprised me and trapped me in an underground chamber. I had to dig myself out.
Monstrous.
That's awful.
It's okay, I'm totally fine. I made it back, and we still have time for me to use my mastery of the elements to defeat Magnus and restore peace. It's gonna be great!
You're right, Zozo. Gee, this sure has been a wild adventure.
And to see more adventures like it, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and search ZOZO!
Zozo, allow me to accompany you to Magnus's lair. There, you can finally end this nightmare for good.
On day 99, the Crimson Wizard walked with me all the way to the swamps and Magnus's base. He couldn't come with me, but I didn't want him to. It was important for me to face Magnus on my own. There, outside the base, were earth elementals, air elementals, and water elementals guarding it. I was pretty nervous at first because there were loads of them and they all attacked me. But I knew I could do it. I fought my way through the elemental guards, freezing them with my ice blast, burning them with my fire breath, and blowing them away with my whirlwind attack. It took a while to get through all of them, but in the end, I managed. Phew, all that fighting made me hungry. Magnus must be anticipating me because he really did gather all the remaining elementals to guard his base. Now, let me find him. On day 100, I headed into Magnus's base to finally complete my quest. He was sitting on a throne, waiting for me. I escaped your trap.
So I see. I had a feeling you might. It doesn't matter. You're going to lose.
I don't think I am. See, there's something you don't get about the elements. They require balance. They're equal. None of them are better than the others. Elements don't have lords. They're all equal and work together.
Foolish words from a foolish shark. No more talking. Let's fight.
He didn't have to tell me twice. He didn't even have to tell me once. I was already getting my sword ready. I used my dirt ability to hopefully trap him, but he dodged it. He came back at me with an attack, but I dodged it and attacked again. All of a sudden, Magnus started shaking and growing. He evolved into a bigger, stronger version of himself right before my eyes. Uh-oh, I've got to step up my game. Ice time! I used my ice ability to freeze Magnus so he wouldn't have a chance to hit me with his new evolved strength. This gave me just enough time to use all the other elements back to back. Earth, fire, air! With all my powers combined, I finally defeated Magnus! It's over! Now we can all coexist in peace again! On day 1, I spawned in as a zombie warden. Whoa, I guess I must be a warden who was revived into a zombie. What are the chances? I only had 6 hearts to start with, probably because I had just been brought back. I'll bet I can become a lot stronger than this. It looked like I already had the physical strength of a zombie and the senses of a warden. I could also perform a wicked sonic boom. Even after becoming a zombie, I've still got it. I realized that I was inside of some musty old tomb. There was a necromancer nearby who seemed to be jumping for joy.
Yes, I have done it! After so many tries, I have turned a warden into a zombie! Now my creation will serve me and do my bidding!
Whoa there, guy. I just got here. Don't I get to choose whether or not I do your bidding?
Free will? I guess I need to use a stronger control spell.
The necromancer started slinging magic at me. It was probably the control spell he mentioned. I didn't want to be controlled, so I started to run away. I ran off into a hallway of the tomb and found cover against the necromancer's spells. He was not happy about that.
You will serve me! Get him, Reaper!
An undead Reaper was summoned and ran towards me, chasing me. But I found a hole in the wall and squeezed through. On the other side were a bunch of coffins and gravestones. I guess I could rest here since I'm a zombie. I'll find a way out of this place tomorrow so I can stay free. On day 2, I took my first steps towards freedom and entered a forest inside of a cave. I thought that the way to the surface must have been somewhere around here. I could see perfectly in the darkness because of my warden senses, so I punched one of the trees and gathered enough wood to make a wooden axe and pickaxe. This forest was way bigger than I expected. I realized that I had no idea how to get to the surface from here, but I was determined to keep exploring this place until I did. I soon found out that I wasn't alone. There was some kind of warrior ghost floating around near a mysterious monument which was emitting a strong light.
Greetings! You must be another one of that necromancer's pawns, or at least you were.
I'm nobody's pawn. The name is Zozo, and I'm looking for a way out of this tomb so I can start a new life on the outside.
You're lucky you can move around so freely. I am ghost-bound to this monument, but my spirit is too strong to be controlled by that necromancer.
So he tried to make you his servant too?
Yes, but be warned, the necromancer was not the most evil thing in this tomb. There is a more ancient and deadly force living deep below, and it too may try to keep you here.
Good to know. Thank you for the heads up. I continued to explore the forest and ran into some cave-dwelling mooses. It was honestly a good thing because I had gotten very hungry. I'm eating mooses tonight. Or wait, is the plural moose or mooses? Or is it meese? Whatever it was, the raw moose ribs I got from the fight tasted great. It seems like most zombies, I've got an all-meat diet. On day 3, I found a wide open cavern where I could start building an underground base. I can't be much of a warden without a place to ward. I mined some stone so that I could build a small shelter for myself. With the material situation sorted for now, I started to build myself a temporary tent-like base. I would need to get more materials before I could make a high-quality base, but this would do for now. I heard a sound behind me, and my keen warden senses told me that it was a soul eater. I fired off a sonic boom to tell it not to mess with me, but it seemed to only make it madder. The soul eater ran towards me and attacked. "You're not getting my soul today!" I fought back with my zombie strength. The soul eater was a tough enemy, but my sonic boom had weakened it before we got into melee range, so I was able to win the fight. I felt the souls that the soul eater had collected enter me and began to feel my power grow. My number of hearts doubled to 12, and I even became slightly larger. Later, with the rest of the wood I gathered, I built a fence around my shelter. On days 4 to 5, I searched the forest cavern for more materials to use for my base and to protect myself. I wonder if the entrance of the tomb has any materials that I might have missed. Even though it was risky, I went back in the direction of the tomb. When I arrived at the entrance, I found that the necromancer was there waiting for me. "You again! I already told you that I won't be controlled. I am a free zombie!"
You have no idea what is coming for you, Zozo. The Demon King promised me great rewards if I could build an undead legion for his army.
The Demon King? Who is that?
He has waited countless eons to make his return. This tomb was where the ancient heroes of the past sealed him away. But now that he has come back, the world will belong to him, and I will do my part to ensure that.
The necromancer cast another confusion spell, but I countered it with a perfectly timed sonic boom that stopped it in midair. Nice try, but I won't work for you, and I won't work for the Demon King. I blocked another confusion spell with my sonic boom and drew my sword. I ran toward the necromancer and struck him down.
You foolish zombie! You could have been on the winning side, but now you will pay the price for being a traitor!
He crumbled into dust, leaving nothing behind. On day 6 to 8, I began digging into the walls of the cavern so that I could find a way towards the outside. My brand new tunnel quickly turned into a mine, and I was able to gather a ton of stone. I built myself a full set of stone armor. While I was at it, I also upgraded my tools to stone. It was just in time because a pack of kobolds showed up right after to attack my base and try to steal my materials. I fired a sonic boom, which startled them, and then I hacked and slashed with my stone sword until I took down the entire group. I was starting to get the hang of the zombie warden fighting style, but I knew I'd be able to get even stronger. These upgrades are only the beginning. On days 9 to 10, I was in my mine when my stone pickaxe started breaking through netherrack. A few minutes later, I broke out of the wall and onto the surface. But the surface world was not how I imagined it. It was overrun with monsters. The entire landscape was filled with lava. Is this the work of the Demon King? If I was going to survive out here on my own, I was going to need some better materials. I looked around the dark landscape to see if I could find any. That's when I ran into the Demon King himself.
It is so good to be free. Or should I say bad to be free? Bad for you, that is.
You must be the Demon King. I'm the zombie warden of the tomb. Call me Zozo.
So, you're the one who defeated that necromancer and made me lose my undead army. No matter, I never needed them anyway. I will conquer the world without the undead.
He swiped his sword at me faster than I could let out a sonic boom. That one blow took out a lot of my health, and I could tell right then and there that the Demon King was too strong for me to defeat.
What's the matter, Zozo? Are you scared?
Yeah, a little. That's why I'm getting out of here. I turned and ran back towards my underground base. For some reason, the Demon King didn't choose to follow me.
Why would I return to the tomb I was sealed in? I have the whole world to destroy now.
When I arrived back at the hillside, I was surprised to see a familiar enemy. It was the Reaper that the necromancer had summoned to fight me. Back for more, Reaper?
Not at all. I came to thank you for setting me free from that spellcaster's control.
Oh, I guess we're cool then.
We're more than cool. I saw the way you stood up to the Demon King. Perhaps we can work together and take him down.
But I ran away.
You ran away a second more than anyone else, which means you're braver than you know. Besides, if we want to keep our freedom, we'll have to face him eventually. He'll send another necromancer to control us before long.
Point taken. I guess it's you and me, Reaper.
Please, call me Grimsley.
On days 11 to 12, I invited Grimsley back to my base and began to build another structure to house him. While I was at it, I popped my tent back up and decided that wasn't enough. So I turned my tent into a watchtower. That way, I could observe what was happening on the surface while I was in my base. I spent some time out in the surface world gathering materials to craft new items. The surface world had a lot of warped stems, and I made sure to get as much as I could. I then proceeded to explore the area some more. I mean, who knows what I might find here? While I was exploring, I spotted a mob. It was headed my way, so I got ready for a fight. I blasted the approaching lava monster with my sonic boom, but it didn't do much damage. My stone weapons also had no effect on the creature at all. Oh no, I'm too weak. I need to get a better weapon and come back. I disappeared into the forest and retreated away from the battlefield. Using some of my leftover stone, I crafted myself a brand new mace for combat. It was a slow weapon, but it had a lot of power, and that suited me just fine. The next time I saw that lava monster, I took him down in one hit. Hooray! Now this is a weapon I can use! I decided not to stop there. The mace was great, but I could use a durable set of armor to match. Some iron tools wouldn't hurt either. I went back to my personal mineshaft and began to dig for iron. It didn't take me too long to find enough to improve my tools and armor level. I smelted the iron down and crafted myself a full set of iron armor and tools. On days 13 to 15, the ghost of the ancient warrior called me to his side and told me the tale of the Demon King.
100 years ago, the world was under attack by a Demon King and his army of demons and monsters. The big evil guy had succeeded in uniting the demons, the undead mobs, and the two-headed ogre tribe into an unstoppable fighting force. The villagers and animals tried to stand against the Demon King, but they were no match. It seemed that all hope was lost, until one day, the legendary heroes appeared. I was one of them. Together, myself and my companions used our legendary weapons to strike deadly blows on the Demon King, weakening him enough for our cleric to trap him inside of the tomb we now stand inside. It seems as though the seal held for exactly 100 years before being broken. I can only imagine that this is because there were no heroes powerful enough to use that spell in the modern day.
So you're saying that even you and the other legendary heroes couldn't defeat the Demon King back then, and then the only way was to seal him, even though it didn't last?
It's better than letting him rampage around and do whatever he wants.
I don't know. Even if there was somebody who could cast the sealing spell these days, would it even matter? It's like putting a band-aid on a broken sword. I'm sorry, but it doesn't sound like there is anything that can be done. On days 16 to 19, I couldn't find Grimsley anywhere in the base, even in the house I built for him. Grimsley wouldn't just leave without telling me. I better look for him. It was a good thing I was part warden, because wardens are really good at finding things. I wandered out farther than I ever had before, to a hill with dark grass and strange ruins on top of it. I spotted Grimsley, but he wasn't alone. There was another mob there, and it looked like it was wearing a magic robe. Oh no, another necromancer has tried to capture Grimsley. I got closer, and I saw that I was correct. The cloaked figure had him enclosed in a ritual circle, and Grimsley was trapped.
Zozo, is that you? Help me!
Don't worry, Grimsley, I'll save you! I fired a sonic boom, which disrupted the necromancer's chanting. He got angry and fired some evil bolts at me. I circled around the hill, using the ruins as cover. I managed to catch him by surprise and wind up an overhead smash with my mace. See you later! The magic circle collapsed when the caster was defeated, and Grimsley was set free.
Well done, Zozo! I thought I was gonna be controlled again for sure!
Don't worry, buddy, I gotcha. Neither of us will ever be controlled again. This time, the Demon King won't have the help of the undead. We'll be fighting against him.
That's the spirit! Or should I say, we're the spirits.
Inspired by Grimsley's words, I felt myself began to grow and change. My number of hearts increased to 20, and I also gained increased melee damage. Zombie-rific! It was just in time, too, because we were joined by a troop of knights. Their leader wore ice armor.
Freeze, undead servants of the Demon King! I, Sir Frost, will put you on ice.
It's cool. We don't actually work for the Demon King, and we're gonna make sure no other undead has to either.
Oh, pardon the misunderstanding then. I'll be off to continue facing his forces and searching for the legendary blade of demon sealing.
Wait, a blade like that exists?
We certainly hope so. It is said to contain the magic of the cleric who sealed him the first time.
Well, if you need any help, you know who to call. Me, Zozo. On days 20 to 22, I went back to the base, only to find it overrun with giant centipedes. All right, you bugs, prepare to get squashed. They were quick, but not very tough, so I used my sword instead of my mace. I figured this place needed a statue, one that would show those knights that allies could be found here, in the remnants of the Demon King's tomb. It would have to be brave and mighty, not to mention cool. Sir Frost will be so impressed that he'll make me his second in command. Plus, he's probably the modern-day descendant of one of those legendary heroes who beat the Demon King. That's how it usually works. I needed white and blue for the statue to really look like him, so I went to gather some dolomite and lapis. I managed to mine quite a bit of the materials I needed and went back to the base. With access to those materials, I could start working on the statue. It was really starting to come together and look like a base of something great. What do you think it'll be? While you're leaving a comment on what you think it'll be, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you can see more of my amazing adventures. On days 23 to 26, the kobolds returned in even greater numbers. This time, they had some ranged weapons on them too. I guess kobolds were craftier than I thought. Fortunately, my melee damage had gotten stronger and I could easily deal with them. One of the kobolds I defeated dropped a bow and a quiver full of poison-tipped arrows. This would make a good backup ranged weapon for my sonic boom. Since there were no necromancers to cast spells on me, I took a trip down into the depths of the tomb. It looked like they had been taken over by a den of slimes and spiders, and they were in the middle of a territory struggle. Am I interrupting something? I cleared out the vermin and gathered up their webs and slime balls. Once I returned to the base, I was able to craft those materials into some leads. After I was done with that, I spotted another kobold jumping in front of my base and ran down to face it. Oh, hey, there's still another kobold back here. Back for another fight.
No way! I want to join you guys. The other kobolds were always mean to me.
Oh, I didn't know. Don't worry, buddy. I gotcha. I built a new house for the kobold and set him up with a workshop to make new weapons and gizmos.
Let me make it up to you by building some traps around the base for you.
On days 27 to 31, I returned to the forest and talked to the ancient warrior about the legendary blade that Sir Frost mentioned. Apparently, this blade can seal the Demon King away again. Does that sound like something that the other legendary warriors might have done?
It is possible that the cleric planned ahead and sealed one more spell into the legendary weapon, but I've been trapped here the whole time as a guardian ghost, so I have no idea what happened in those 100 years.
I suppose I'll have to go looking and see what the world is like out there.
The Demon King is most likely sending his minions to destroy whatever is left of the legendary hero's descendants. If you can find them first, one of them probably knows how to find the legendary blade.
Well then, there's no time to waste. Thanks, ancient warrior. I'm out of here. I journeyed out into the wilderness in search of the legacy that the legendary heroes left behind. I came upon a bridge over a deep ravine, which was guarded by a two-headed giant.
Just try to get past us. You won't.
Watch me. I shot a poison-tipped arrow into the giant and watched as their health started to get chipped away.
Why, you...
The giant charged right into the path of my swinging mace. Kapow! The hit knocked them back, causing them to stumble over the side of the ravine. The two-headed giant fell all the way to the bottom, but didn't disappear. I quickly ran across the bridge before they found a way back up. On days 32 to 35, I found a grove full of trees, and in it were a bunch of songbirds.
Hello, traveler. What brings you to this peaceful place?
My name is Zozo, and I'm here in search of a legendary blade that can seal the Demon King.
Oh, the Blade of the Cleric. This place was created by one of the other legendary heroes, so we've heard of it, but we're not sure where it is.
Darn it, this is still a very nice clearing. But wait, if it was made by the heroes, then... Just as I realized, the Demon King came rushing into the grove. He used his magic staff and destroyed half of the grove in one hit. Luckily, I'm here. Run away, birds. I'll distract him. The songbirds ran away just in time, as the Demon King was right next to me.
We meet again, Zozo. This time I'll destroy you!
It seemed like he meant it. He was immune to the poison of my arrows, and he closed in on me before I could use my sonic boom. Thinking quickly, I surprised him with my increased melee damage.
Impressive, but it will take more than that to defeat me.
I guess we'll find out next time. I ran off while the Demon King just stood there, laughing. But at least I lived to fight another day. Just as I got far enough away, I spotted one of the songbirds. I'm sorry about your home.
We'll be able to find a new home. You saved us, and that's what matters.
My base can be your new home.
Oh, sweet.
On days 36 to 39, I constructed an aviary where the birds could live as peacefully as they did back at the Grove. Can you tell me anything else you know about the legendary heroes?
There were 4 of them in total. The warrior, the cleric, the singer, and the ice knight. The singer was the one who made our grove, and I hear that the ice knight founded an order of brave warriors who dwell in the snowy north.
That sounds like Sir Frost and his companions. I should go visit them.
The good thing about the north is that it's very well protected. The Demon King will have to spend a lot of resources to claim it. If there's another place where his forces can be resisted, it would be there.
Awesome! I should get prepared and make this alliance official. The undead can team up with the knights, and together we'll find the legendary blade. Then we'll show the Demon King who's really boss. But before I left to go explore the snowy north, I did a bit more on my statue. I felt inspired because I was reminded of Sir Frost. On days 40 to 43, another undead showed up at the base, and I welcomed them into the ranks of the resistance.
Hi, my name is Gabby Ghoul.
Welcome to the team, Gabby.
Thanks. I'm from the lower east side of the tomb, and I know there are some really good materials behind a secret door.
That sounds cool. Will you show us where the secret door is?
Sure, since you asked so nicely.
Gabby showed us the secret door in the lower east tomb, and sure enough, there was gold ore which could be used to craft some very valuable gold items. It was almost too good to be true, but it was true, and there was a warder there to make it a little less good. I did a sonic boom on the dangerous mob and performed a combo with my mace. It took a few more hits than most of the enemies I'd faced, but it went down just like the rest of them. Wow, there's a lot of useful stuff back here. I have some materials to give to the kobold trapsmith. I returned to the kobold and gave him all of the materials I collected. I'm sure he will make great use of them. On days 44 to 49, I traveled across the land until I reached the snowy north. If I were human, I'd probably have to wear a coat. Thank goodness I'm undead. The local mobs were completely different from the ones that I had encountered in the lands that the Demon King had ransacked. But just because they weren't working for the Demon King didn't mean they were friendly. A winged imp monster known as a Vex swooped from out of the sky and tried to take me down. That hurt. I guess it's time to get serious. I swung my mace at the creature, but it was too slow. It flew back up into the sky out of melee range, but that was a mistake on the mob's part because I used my sonic boom to drop it. I decided to travel deeper in, had noticed more of these things, and also that they were attacking a poor Arctic fox. I drew my bow and arrow. I had the element of surprise, so I launched arrows into all of them. The Vexes were poisoned and defeated. That's when a fox approached me, looking very relieved.
Whew, that was helpful. Thank you.
That's what I do. I help people.
Are you part of the Ice Knight Order? I've been looking for them.
So have I. I need their help with finding a legendary blade.
The one that can seal the Demon King back? So it does exist. At least my village wasn't attacked for nothing. The Demon King's forces are there right now, looking for it. I need the knights to come and save us.
I guess we've got the same goal. Let's see what we can do together. On days 50 to 53, the fox and I traveled further into the snowing north, trying to avoid the prying eyes of the Vexes.
Maybe if we look around, we'll find someone who can give you a bit more information about the blade of the cleric. There are a lot of people who hate the Demon King, so they'll probably be willing to help out.
But the one person I didn't want to see was the multi-headed giant. He'd finally tracked me down, and he wanted some payback.
Is this a friend of yours, Zozo?
Yeah, something like that. I rushed in and unleashed my sonic boom, but he dodged the sonic boom and charged at me. I guess two heads are finally looking better than one. But I was stronger than I was all those days ago, and I didn't need only my sonic boom to fight my enemies. As the giant got closer, I pulled out my mace and jumped into the air. One strike of my mace to the giant's multiple heads, and he was defeated.
That was amazing. You're a real hero, Zozo.
I'm just a zombie warden doing his best. As Fox and I continued to explore, we found a mutant snow golem camping. Hey, Mr. Snow Golem, I'm Zozo, and I'm looking for the Sword of the Cleric. Do you know where I can find it?
Sorry to burst your bubble, kid, but it doesn't work that way. You don't just find the Sword of the Cleric. Legends say that when you reveal yourself to be worthy, only then will the sword find its way to you.
Oh, so I'm not a real hero yet?
You don't have the sword, so probably not. But you seem like a good kid. Take this protection enchantment. It'll help you on your quest.
Thanks, Mr. Snow Golem. I appreciate it. On days 54 to 57, I made the long and hard journey back across the map, then went underground to my base. I decided to apply the protection enchantment to my chest plate so I'd be able to withstand more powerful attacks easier. Afterwards, I noticed that the kobold installed some traps, a lava chest trap, a diamond door trap, and a pit trap. Hopefully these will never have to come in handy, but good to have them, just in case. Just then, Grimsley approached me with an important task.
Zozo, thank goodness you're here. Gabby Ghoul has gotten sick. I fear that it's some kind of hex caused by the Demon King. I can make a healing potion to help her, but I need you to collect some apples from the Warped Forest. It's a vital ingredient.
Don't worry, Grimsley, I'll be right on it. You stay here and tend to Gabby. I quickly went to the overworld and began exploring the Warped Forest until I happened upon some apples. I collected as many as I could, wanting to make sure there was enough for Gabby's healing potions. I went back to the underground base and gave Grimsley the apples.
This is perfect, Zozo. I have even more than I need. Here, take a few of these spare health potions. You never know when they might come in handy.
On days 58 to 62, I decided to take a load off and work on the statue after a pretty stressful week. Everyone needs a little relaxation time. Can you guess what it is yet? But just as I was about to continue my statue build, I noticed that a gang of demonic reavers working for the Demon King suddenly started attacking my base. Leave it to a guy called the Demon King to never fight fair. But I had an ace in the hole. As the reavers tried to ransack my base, they activated the different traps. A few fell into the lava pit, some more fell for my pit trap, and one of them even fell for my diamond ore trap. And even more were taken out by my sonic booms. I'll take on as many reavers as the Demon King can send at me. But I wasn't prepared for a sneak attack from behind from Grimsley, the Reaper, which knocked me down. Grimsley, how could you? I thought we were friends.
I'm so sorry, Zozo. We are friends, but the Demon King somehow reactivated the Necromancer's control spell. I'm not in control of my own body. He is.
Grimsley, you have to fight it. I promise I'll help free you.
I'm worried you're already too late, Zozo. Just promise me you'll stay safe and don't follow me.
And with that, the mind-controlled Grimsley ran off. On day 63 to day 66, I took one of the healing potions that Grimsley made for me and chased him out of the base. Looks like he's headed for the Warped Forest. I need to chase him and snap him out of this funk. I followed him until I caught up with him in the darkness of the forest. It was just me and Grimsley facing off.
Zozo, I told you not to follow me. It was a trap from the Demon King all along.
That's when even more reavers came out of the forest to battle me. It looked like more than I could even take on. Grimsley, I need you to help me.
I can't help you, Zozo. I'm not in control.
You have to fight, Grimsley. You're not just a servant of the Necromancer or the Demon King. You're your own person. I could see that Grimsley was struggling to regain control, and eventually, Grimsley snapped out of it.
You're right, Zozo. I am my own person. Now let's show these reavers that we mean business.
Grimsley and I fought off the reavers together. Between the two of us, those servants of evil stood no chance.
Thank you for never giving up on me, Zozo.
I'll never give up on a friend.
And as it turns out, when the Demon King invaded my mind, I also invaded his. I got a vision of a cave deep in the basalt deltas. We might be able to find something useful there.
On days 67 to 70, Grimsley and I decided we'd make our way to the Basalt Deltas cave together and take the fight to the Demon King. Do you think the Blade of the Cleric is in there, Grimsley?
Only if you're worthy. And look, that might be a good way to prove yourself.
Grimsley was gesturing to a huge, scary Wendigo that was patrolling the outside of the cave. He must have been another demonic servant of the Demon King. I'll go in first. Follow my lead. I ran towards the Wendigo and unleashed a sonic boom. It was more formidable than anything I'd ever faced before. Thankfully, I still had my mace. I pulled it out and hit the Wendigo several times as it roared and shrieked, but the attacks only made it angrier. Then, the Wendigo started fighting back. Every time it hit or bit me, it was knocking off heart after heart. It was terrifying. There was nothing I could do to stop it. I saw my life flashing before my eyes when suddenly Grimsley stormed in to save me.
Leave my friend alone, Wendigo, or you're gonna learn exactly why you should fear the Reaper.
Grimsley attacked. I don't know if he hurt the Wendigo, but he spooked it enough to finally run it off. You really saved me there, Grimsley. Thank you.
Just repaying my debt, Zozo. Now let's take a look inside the cave.
On day 71 to day 74, we entered the cave, hoping to find the Blade of the Cleric waiting for me. But no, the cave was empty, and I was devastated. I guess I'm still not worthy.
It's okay, Zozo. I'm sure we'll be able to find it. We just need to believe in ourselves.
We better start believing harder, because if we don't, then the Demon King is gonna rise to full power, and without the Blade of the Cleric, there will be nothing we can do to stop him. On day 75 to day 78, I returned to my base and decided it was time to upgrade my mace since it was about to break. So I did just that and crafted a new mace. Then I decided to supercharge it and applied the sharpness enchantment on it to improve its hitting power. Nobody will want to mess with me now. But that was wrong because the Wendigo who'd gotten away in the Badlands suddenly appeared, and he was here for me. Unlike the Reavers, he wasn't tricked by any of the traps. He had my scent, and he was coming straight for me with his teeth and claws ready. But this time though, I had my upgraded mace, and I was ready to fight back. The Wendigo squared up, and I hit him back. And after that hit, he didn't get back up. Because the Wendigo was so powerful, defeating him gave me a lot of XP, causing me to get bigger, stronger, and finally reach 30 hearts. I was one of the most powerful zombie wardens in the world. I was even starting to look more like an actual warden and became pretty buff. This is my coolest upgrade yet. That's when I had a vision. I needed to return to the snowy north. Something would be waiting for me there. Something I needed if I wanted to defeat the Demon King. So of course, there was no time to waste. On day 79 to day 84, I traveled into the snowy north until I found a fortress that looked like something out of my vision. And as it turned out, it was this fortress that was manned by Sir Frost and his knights, just who I wanted to see. I went to Sir Frost's planning room, where we began to discuss the thing on both of our minds, the Demon King.
I've spent my entire life preparing to confront the Demon King if he ever rose again. And in all that time, all that responsibility, I feel I've learned so little. All I know is that he'll likely reach his greatest power soon.
Then we should probably stick together. He'll want to get rid of all of us as part of his rise to power, but that'll be harder if we're working with each other. Come back to my base. We'll be safe there, Sir Frost.
You make a good point, Zozo. I'll prepare my things. We'll head off shortly.
On day 85 to day 89, I returned to my base to check on Gabigool, who had started living inside of my statue, and ask her how she was recovering from the hex that the Demon King had put on her.
I'm feeling a lot better now, Zozo. Thank you. And there's something I should tell you. I've been having visions lately. The Demon King, I know he's hiding somewhere with blue trees. Does that mean anything to you?
Blue trees? That has to be the Warped Forest. That's the only place that looks like that. Thank you, Gabby. I know where to find him now. On day 90 to day 94, I went into the mines and managed to get extremely lucky and mine my first set of diamonds. If I'm gonna face the Demon King, I need some extremely tough armor. I forged myself a full set of diamond armor, which would defend me against almost anything. And then I went about enchanting every piece of my armor just so that I would be as prepared as possible. Diamonds are a zombie warden's best friend. On day 95 to day 97, I finished the statue. It was the statue made in tribute to one of the coolest warriors I know, Sir Frost. He'd spent his whole life searching for ways to stop the Demon King, and looking at his statue, I knew I'd be honored to spend my unlife doing the same. The Demon King would fall, and it would be because of me. On day 98, all the preparations had been made. The last thing I was able to do was talk to my friends I'd made who were staying at my base. First, I spoke to Grimsley.
I believe you can do this, Zozo. With or without the blade of the cleric, you're a true hero, and you will defeat this monstrous villain.
Next, I spoke to Gabby Ghoul.
You're brave and kind, Zozo, and that will serve you well against the Demon King. Never forget that.
And of course, Sir Frost, the Ice Knight.
Are you sure you want to do this alone, Zozo? I would happily fight by your side, if you so will it.
Thank you, Sir Frost. You've been fighting this fight a long time. Let me finish it for you. And if you want to help me, the best thing you can do is subscribe to Zozo and ring the bell to always be notified of the next adventure. On day 99, with everything said, I left the underground base and made my way deep into the horrors of the Nether. The first stop was the Crimson Forest, the only way to the warped forest Gabby had mentioned, where the Demon King would be waiting. That's when I saw something crawling out of the ground. It was another warden, just like me, except he wasn't zombified.
You worthless traitor! The Necromancer and the Demon King gave you everything, and yet you rebel. You make me sick, you undead freak!
I'd rather be undead and free than alive and taking orders from the Demon King. The enemy warden tried to unleash a sonic boom on me, but I wasn't about to waste time on him when I had the biggest fish to fry. I unleashed my sonic boom, and the enemy warden was completely destroyed.
Traitor!
And with him out of the way, it was time to enter the warped forest and finally finish this thing. On day 100, I entered the warped forest and prepared myself for the fight of my own life. It wouldn't be easy. First, I had to deal with the Endermen. They kept teleporting around me, and it took both my mace and my Mega Sonic Boom to take care of them. It doesn't matter how much you delay, I'm gonna take on your boss soon enough. I thought I'd need to keep searching for the Demon King, but instead, the Demon King came for me. He floated down towards me, ready to fight.
You again? That little failed experiment that killed the Necromancer. Are you truly foolish enough to think you can best me, the Demon King?
And with that, he began to grow, becoming a far bigger and more powerful version of himself than I'd ever seen. He had finally reached his full power. Even if I can't beat you, I'm still going to fight you, because what kind of person would I be if I didn't?
A living one.
The Demon King pulled out a powerful bow and started shooting me with it. I tried to dodge, but was quickly overwhelmed due to the sheer power of it.
Weak. How disappointing. Destroying you will be an act of mercy.
Just as I thought I'd be doomed, I noticed something had been added to my inventory. It was the blade of the cleric. My act of bravery had finally earned it. As soon as I equipped the blade, I saw myself growing, getting more powerful. I was bigger, stronger, and even had a mighty 50 hearts. There would be no stopping me now. Okay, Demon King, are you ready for a real fight? With the blade of the cleric, I attacked the Demon King, striking him again and again, forcing him further back into the warped forest, weakening him, breaking him down. I could tell he was afraid.
Zozo, wait! Clearly you're strong. How about we join forces? Imagine the power we could have together.
Nice offer, but I think I'll stick with my friends, Demon King. With one last blast of my sonic boom, the Demon King was destroyed, and the world was saved! After that, I went back to the base happy to finally relax. On day 1, I spawned in as Nemo. I'm so small, I better be careful. I also noticed I only had 3 hearts. This was going to be really difficult.
Nemo!
I looked behind me and saw my dad, Marlin. He was swimming out of a small cave towards me.
You need to get inside. It's not safe.
I hurried inside just as a scuba diver appeared. He took his net and snatched my dad. Dad! I tried to swim toward him, but he yelled back at me.
No, stay inside. I'll be okay, I promise.
The scuba diver swam away, leaving me all alone. I felt really sad, but it was getting dark. I needed to stay safe in the cave and wait until morning to go looking for my dad. On day 2, I woke up to the sun shining into the cave. I looked around. Dad? Then I remembered what had happened to him. I got really sad again. I'll find you, Dad. I promise. I swam out of the cave to find materials to build some weapons. I managed to make a crafting table, which helped me to craft a pickaxe and sword. Now I feel more ready if that scuba diver comes back. I continued swimming in the reef and discovered that there weren't a lot of other fish around.
Hey, get down here!
I looked down and saw a shrimp waving at me. I swam down to him.
What do you think you are doing? The reef isn't safe, especially closer to the surface. Not since the human has been coming around.
Yeah, I saw him yesterday. He trapped my dad.
I'm sorry. Do you have anyone else to look out for you?
No, I'm alone. I could tell the shrimp felt bad for me. He scurried back into his hole and returned with some kelp.
Here, take this. You need it more than me.
Thank you! I swam carefully back to my cave with the food. I'm going to protect everyone. They all seem too scared, and someone needs to stick up for them. I arrived at my cave, a plan starting to form in my mind. On day 3, I gathered some more sand and even managed to find some gravel. I started to make a little base for myself around my cave. I wanted to make a dome so that the humans couldn't get in. I got part of the foundation done, but I needed to do some other things to get the dome figured out. All of a sudden, I was smacked from behind. I looked and noticed an eel. Hey, get away! I used my new weapon to smack him back. He got me down to 1 heart, but I finally managed to defeat him. You messed with the wrong fish. I felt my strength grow, and I leveled up into a larger fish. Hey, I have 6 hearts now. Neat. I also noticed that I could swim faster since my fins were bigger. I decided to call it a day. I was beat. On days 4 to 5, I gathered some more materials to build the base. I managed to build a furnace and smelted some sand to make some glass for the dome. I was swimming around when I noticed some bigger fish trying to trap some colorful fish. I swam up to attack the large fish. Hey, get away from them! The colorful fish scattered and the large fish attacked. I managed to get a bunch of hits in and managed to defeat all the fish.
Hey!
I looked down and saw a fish lying on a rock. It was one of the ones I had hit with my sword. I guess he had tried to swim away. I swam down to him. What were you doing to those fish?
We work for the scuba diver. He guarantees us food if we help him capture fish.
That's awful.
It's life. We need food to live.
He tried to smack me again, but I managed to get a hit in. He yelled, and then he disappeared. How sad. How could he betray his own kind? I swam back to the base, contemplating what I had just heard. On days 6 to 8, I crafted some more glass for the dome. It was starting to look really awesome. I also used some of the materials to make myself a better sword and tools. If that scuba diver comes, I'll be ready for him. I went venturing out, being careful to avoid the surface. I came across a large mound of sand and began to gather it when I was hit by something. I turned and saw a jellyfish. He was ready to strike again. Nobody wants you here. I smacked him, and before I knew it, he was gone. That was super easy with my new sword. I was feeling good. The reef was just a little safer already. On days 9 to 10, I went venturing a little further. I managed to gather some more supplies when suddenly I heard some screaming. I swam toward the sound and saw a blue fish being grabbed by the scuba diver. Leave her alone! I drew my sword and managed to hit the scuba diver's hand. He let go of the blue fish, who swam away.
If I can't have her, then I'll have you.
The scuba diver grabbed at me and almost managed to get me. I was fast, but he was faster. I swam away, knowing that it was my only chance to get out of this situation. I hid inside the cavity of a rock. The scuba diver retreated, and I let out some bubbles in relief.
That was close.
I didn't realize that the bluefish had swam into the same cavity in the rock as me. I swam out in surprise.
Thanks for saving me. I don't know what I would have done without you.
Of course, I'm here to try to protect the reef. I invited the bluefish back to the base where it would be safe for her. She happily agreed.
I'm Dory, by the way.
Nice to meet you. On days 11 to 12, I helped Dory to make a little home for herself. She seemed to really like it and even said it reminded her of her old home. Where is your home?
Actually, I don't remember.
She was an odd one, but I liked her. I went out to gather some better materials in a nearby cave, but then a group of eels attacked me. Get away from me! They were too strong, so I went to a different cave. I was swimming around for a while, but then I saw some iron. That's exactly what I need. I mined out as much as I could before heading back to the base. I made myself an iron sword, pickaxe, and some armor. This'll show 'em. I went back to the cave with the eels, and I attacked. In no time, they were all gone. Take that! I went into the cave, and sure enough, there was more iron. Cool, this'll set me up for a while. I went back to the base and made some more tools. With those, I made some minor improvements to the base. It was starting to look really good. On days 13 to 15, I went out to learn more about this scuba diver. I needed to find my dad and all the other fish he was taking. I swam around the reef to gather more information. More fish were out today, but not a lot. Hey, do you know where the scuba diver is taking the fish he's capturing? Everyone kept swimming away from me. I wonder why everyone is so skittish. I finally happened upon an older snail who was willing to talk to me.
Everything was peaceful in the reef for a long time. Then one day, a large shadow was cast over us. We looked up and saw a monstrous machine churning in the water. It's called a boat.
Boat? I said the word. It sounded weird to me.
The scuba diver can't stay underwater like us, so he drives the boat. At first, he was just here to take pictures. Then one day, he started snatching fish in bags, or even shooting them with his harpoon. He is a bad man.
I was grateful that someone was willing to talk to me, but now I was terrified. The scuba diver sounded really strong and capable. I was just a little fish. What could I do? On days 16 to 19, I woke up and couldn't find Dory anywhere. I hope she didn't swim off on her own. I went outside the base and saw Jacques waving at me again.
You better hurry. The octopus just took your friend.
Dory?
Yes. She was swimming up near the surface and singing to herself. An octopus came by and grabbed her before she even knew what was happening.
Jacques pointed me in the direction of the octopus lair, and I took off. The octopus lair was more of a sandy hill covered with seaweed, but it was something. I hurried and swam inside to save my friend.
Hey, it's you!
I looked and saw Dory. She was with another fish who looked pretty beaten up.
Watch out!
I turned and saw the octopus try to attack me. I hurried and drew my sword before he could get a hit in. He tried to maneuver around me, but I was able to get some really good hits in. Before I knew it, he was gone. Just then, I leveled up into an even stronger clownfish. I felt my fins grow and I swam around to test them out. I was super fast now. I could create a wall of bubbles.
I'm so happy you found me. Also, this is Gil.
The other fish swam up to me.
Thank you for saving my life. That was really impressive.
Thanks. I am happy to protect the fish in the reef. We need it more than ever, especially with the scuba diver around.
Are you gonna fight him?
I'm not sure. He's so strong and way bigger than me.
I know of an item that could help. It was lost in the sea a long time ago, but it might be the answer to your problem.
That was the best news I had gotten all day. Maybe there was a way to fight the scuba diver after all. I want to hear all about it, but you should stay at our base. It'll be safer there. Gil happily agreed to come with us, and we headed back to our home. On days 20 to 22, we arrived back at the base, but it was being attacked by skeletons? Ah, gross! I went at them with my sword and fought them off easily. They all dropped a bunch of bones. Maybe they would come in handy later. I was happy that Gil was staying with us too, but I wanted everyone to know that this was a safe place to stay. A statue would be a good idea. I came up with an idea, but I needed to gather some supplies first. I gathered a lot of kelp and even managed to find some sea cucumbers. Yes. Perfect! I knew I needed more for later, so I planted a few and then used the bones from the skeletons to make some bone meal. I fed the bone meal to the sea cucumbers. I won't be running out of those anytime soon. I went to work on the base of the statue. Can you tell what it's going to be? And if you like swimming along on our adventures, be sure to watch more of my videos by searching for Zozo. That's Z-O-Z-O. And subscribe too, since we sure would love to see you around here more often. On days 23 to 26, some skeletons attacked again. I wasn't too nervous though, they were easy to defeat. They dropped more bones, but I noticed that another one dropped some sea lanterns. Wow. This would be perfect to make the dome more bright. They were looking really good. I started to place them around the base and inside the dome. It was looking brighter already. I was outside looking for some more materials when a yellow fish swam up to me.
Hello! Someone told me that this is a safe place to stay. My family was taken by the scuba diver, and I don't have a home to go back to.
I knew exactly how this fish felt. Please, come in. You are more than welcome to stay here. The fish told me his name was Bubbles as we went inside. I started on making some better houses for Bubbles and Gil. They weren't anything fancy, but they were safe. I made sure to smelt some more glass so that we could expand the dome out. It was looking really great. On days 27 to 31, I went to chat with Gil. I wanted to know more about the item he had told me about earlier.
My grandfather told me about an old wise turtle that was a protector of the reef a long time ago. But like now, humans kept invading, stealing fish away, and polluting the ocean. The turtle decided to go to Poseidon to bargain for an item that would protect them. In return, he crafted the turtle a special trident.
Poseidon? No way!
I know, right? Anyway, the old turtle takes this special trident, but Poseidon says it will only work for those who have pure intentions to protect the creatures of the sea.
Makes sense.
It gave the turtle the ability to call the lightning down and control the water.
Wow!
But the best part was the last gift it granted to the wielder, the ability to walk on land like a human if needed.
That's amazing! So, where is the trident now?
That's the tricky part. After the turtle passed on, so many fish and creatures wanted the trident for themselves. They fought over it. Because of their greed, it was broken into 3 pieces and scattered across the ocean. There are rumors as to where they are, but nobody has been able to find all of them.
This was a lot to take in.
My grandfather told me he had heard of one that was guarded by a shark near a shipwreck.
It wasn't a lot to go on, but it was a start. I started out toward the shipwreck that Gil was talking about, though I was a little nervous about the shark. As I approached, I didn't see any shark. Then he came out from behind the hull of the ship. He's pretty big. I was nervous, but I knew I had a job to do, so I charged at the shark and attacked. He was taken aback and tried to get a hit in. He was a good fighter, but I wasn't doing too bad myself. After a minute, I could tell he was really struggling. I was about to make my final attack when he swam away. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. I went and looked around the ship, but it was empty. I was a little confused. I wonder where the trident piece could be. On days 32 to 35, I swam out of the ship, but I heard someone calling me. I looked down and saw some crabs hiding under some coral. I swam down to them.
Hey, are you looking for the trident piece?
Yeah, how did you know?
We've seen a lot of fish come this way. Not nearly as brave as you. Most have retreated, but this isn't the ship you're looking for.
So I gathered. All of a sudden, the crab shrieked and scurried away. I looked behind me and saw the scuba diver. You're not getting me today. Then he took out a harpoon and shot me. It paralyzed me and I sank to the bottom of the ocean. Oh no! I struggled but couldn't get out. Then I saw one of the crabs crawl out of the sand and give me a milk bottle, which cleared the paralysis effect.
Go!
I swam toward the scuba diver, creating a wall of bubbles so he couldn't see me. He dropped something, and I hurried to grab it before racing back to the crabs. Hurry, you can come with me. The crabs rushed out of their hole, and together, we hurried towards the base. On days 36 to 39, we arrived back at the base. I realized that I had picked up a flashlight. Maybe it would come in handy later. I started on a little house for the crabs to live in. They were super grateful that I had helped them.
Hey, the ship you're looking for is sunken into the depths of the drop-off. At least that's what we've heard.
This was great news.
Except it's guarded by a huge monster. Nobody has been able to get into the ship.
Okay, less great news. But I needed to do some things before I left. I worked on the statue for a little while, planting new sea cucumbers as I went. It was starting to look a little more like what I wanted. On days 40 to 43, Gil told us that his friend Flo needed help. We invited her into the dome and heard her out.
My friend Peach, she's a lobster. She was taken by some eels. They had been terrorizing her for food, but when she couldn't give them any more, they kidnapped her.
I can help her. Just tell me where I need to go. Flo directed me to a small, sunken statue that the eels like to hang around.
She's probably there. Please, go help her.
I promised I would, and I headed out. I made sure to be stealthy as I went along. After a while, I saw the statue Flo had told me about. It looked like a human, holding some sort of bowl. Sure enough, there were a bunch of eels and a colorful lobster sitting in the bowl. I charged. Hey, you give her back! The eels reared up and went to attack. There were a lot of them, and they were getting hits in. I barely managed it, but soon after, they were all gone.
Thanks for saving me, mister.
No problem. I'm a friend of Flo's.
Oh, thank goodness.
I noticed a small hole in the base of the statue and looked inside. There was a chest full of prismarine crystals and one shaped prismarine. Nice! I headed out with Peach back to our base. Once we arrived, Flo was super happy to see her friend. They thanked me, and then I went right to making Peach a little home. I then made something for Flo as well. Then I took the prismarine crystals I had found and smelted them into shaped prismarine. Then I used that to make some new prismarine weapons and armor. Sweet! Now I'm ready to take on that monster. On days 44 to 49, I swam to the drop-off and looked down. It sure was dark down there. Oh wait! I have a flashlight! I took out the flashlight I had grabbed from the scuba diver and turned it on. It worked! I started to swim down into the depths. I was swimming for a long time when I finally started to see a ship. Then I saw something moving toward me. It was a goblin shark. Nope, not today. I took out my sword and braced myself. The goblin shark attacked, but I created my wall of bubbles, distracting it. I hurried and swam into the ship, turning off my flashlight. It was pitch black.
Hey, is someone there?
A voice was whispering from the corner. I didn't dare turn my flashlight on yet. I'm a friend. I'm looking for the missing trident piece.
Is that what this is? I thought it was just a fancy stick, but I did manage to grab it. I snuck past the goblin shark to get in, but I haven't been able to get out.
Why are you down here?
I'm a treasure hunter. I heard there was some stuff down here, but nobody mentioned the shark.
I'll get us out of here. Don't you worry. Just follow the sound of my voice. Then, when I say swim, you swim.
Okay.
I found an opening and I turned on the flashlight. Swim! We swam up as fast as we could. The other fish behind me kept whispering to himself.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
After what seemed like forever, we finally got up past the drop-off. I finally looked at the other fish.
I bloat.
He was a pufferfish, and he seemed really tired. He was also holding what I assumed was part of the trident.
Here, take this. I don't want it.
He gave me the pole piece, and I studied it. It looked like it had carvings on it.
Hey, thanks for saving me, by the way. That was gnarly.
Of course. How about we get back to my base so you can rest?
Sounds good to me.
And with that, we headed back to the base. On days 50 to 53, I helped Bloat get comfortable at the base, and then I headed back out to look for some more pieces of the trident. Someone had to know something. On my way out and about, I saw a huge crater in the sea bottom. There were sharks swimming all around, including the one from the first shipwreck I had gone to. It looked like they had someone trapped in a cage of some sort. Hey, you let them go! I raced down with my improved swimming abilities and attacked the first shark. I was able to take him out and then went to attack his friends. After just a few moments, I was able to fend them all off. I went up to the cage and noticed another shark inside. Ah! I went to swim away, but he called out to me.
Hey, wait! Don't leave me! I won't eat you!
I swam back to him, a bit apprehensively. You don't eat fish?
No, fish are friends, not food.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I unlocked the cage and let the small shark out.
Thank you. All those other sharks were making fun of me and decided it would be hilarious if they put me in a cage.
I'm so sorry they did that to you. He nodded.
What brings you all the way out here?
I told him all about the scuba diver and the legendary trident I was trying to put together again. I showed him part of the trident I had. The shark got excited.
Say, I have something that looks like that.
The shark, whose name I learned was Bruce, swam a little further into the crater. There was a little alcove that held a small chest. I opened it, and sure enough, there was a piece of the trident. Whoa, thanks!
No problem. The sharks found that here, but they figured it was some sort of fancy stick. But we kept it anyway.
I tried to put the pieces together, but nothing happened. I would probably need all of the pieces before it would meld back together. I invited Bruce back to the base. We might need to expand it a little bit, since you are bigger than most of the other fish living there.
I'll be sure to help out.
We headed back to the base, ready to make some big renovations. On days 54 to 57, Bruce and I arrived back at the base. At first, everyone was a little scared of Bruce, but after a while, they all started to warm up to him. They even helped me make some improvements for him. We built another dome attached to the main dome. This way, people could have more space for themselves. I also made myself a little chest to store the trident pieces in. I didn't want to carry them all the time and risk someone stealing them from me while I was outside the dome. I was about to make some more improvements to the base when Dory swam right up next to me.
Hello, could I get your help with something?
Sure, Dory. What is it?
Oh, I just forgot.
She swam away for a little bit, then came back a moment later.
I remember. Could you help me find some purple shells?
Purple shells?
Yes, it's very important.
It was an odd request, but I decided to help her. We ventured out together and found a dozen or so shells in varying sizes. We went back to the base, and I gave Dory the shells I had found. What are they for?
You'll see.
She left for a while, and I thought she had completely forgotten about the shells. It wasn't until later that she swam back up to me.
I have something for you.
She held out a necklace made of some purple shells. Oh wow, thanks, Dory. I put it on. I actually felt happier.
You're a good friend.
Dory hugged me and then swam away. What a cute friend. On days 58 to 62, I gathered some more supplies for the statue. Flo and Gil even helped me with gathering and building some parts of it. It was looking really nice. We were heading back inside the dome when we noticed that there were some of the scuba divers' minion fish attacking the base. Get away, you traitors! I smacked them with my sword. I swam around and noticed that everyone was there except Bloat. I looked in his house and noticed a note. It was from the scuba diver telling him to look for the legendary item at the ship and to infiltrate my base. Bloat was a traitor! I hurried and went to the chest near my cave, and just as I had suspected, the trident pieces were gone. I went back to the base and told everyone that Bloat stole the trident pieces. Everyone saw how upset I was and started to all talk at the same time. It was a little too much for me, so I went into my cave to think. What am I going to do now? I looked at Bloat's note again and noticed something on the back. There was a map with a location circled. This must be where he's going next. I've got to stop him before it's too late. On days 63 to 66, I traveled to the location on the map. It was a rock formation with all kinds of coral growing on it. Then a fish emerged from the coral. He had blended right in.
Get away from here! We don't want any more trouble!
He tried to bat at me with his fins, but I backed up. Trouble? I'm here to stop all the trouble. The fish looked at me again. I'm looking for the third trident piece. I was led here with a map. Do you know where it is?
Yeah, I do. But some other fish came by a little while ago asking the same question. In fact, some of them said they would be back.
Just then, I saw the minion fish swimming up to us. I drew my sword. Stop bothering these innocent fish! I charged and attacked. Before long, they were all gone.
That was impressive.
I swam back to the camouflage fish.
Here, I think you need this after that fight.
He handed me a burger and said it was a Krabby Patty, whatever that was. Thanks. So, can you tell me where the trident piece is?
It's hiding in the lair of the large glow squid. It's basically impossible to get to, but that pufferfish and his goons might have a chance.
That must have been Bloat. The fish told me exactly where the lair was, and I swam as fast as my fins would go. On days 67 to 70, I made it to the lair of the large glow squid. It was an old underwater temple. Outside of it were some minion fish. They looked like they were guarding it. Then I saw Bloat and a few more minion fish emerge from the large cave. I charged at them. You traitor! I thought you were my friend! Bloat saw me and got scared. He tried to hide behind the minion fish, but I easily took a few of them out. Bloat tried to swim away, but I smacked him with my sword. He looked at me angrily, and then he puffed up. I felt a sharp pain in my side, and then I blacked out. On days 71 to 74, I woke up. I felt really sick, and there was a pain in my side. I looked and saw one of Bloat's needles lodged in between my stripes. I pulled it out and groaned. Ouch! I knew I needed to check the lair, so I swam down and saw an alcove with a chest. It was empty. Bloat must have gotten the item before I blacked out. I didn't have much strength, so I ate some kelp. I felt so sick and knew I needed to get back to the base to rest up. I made the long journey home, wondering what my next move would be. On days 75 to 78, I made it back to the base and rested for a little while. Once I was feeling more like myself, I made some improvements to the base. I added to the domes and made some lights. I also started on a new dome in case we had more fish arrive. I was about to clean out Bloat's little alcove when I heard a weird noise outside the dome. I went out to see, and it was Bloat! What are you doing here?
I was trying to sneak back in to get some of my things. Get out of my way.
You traitor, you aren't welcome here. I lunged at Bloat, making a wall of bubbles to distract him. Then I slashed at him with my sword. I wasn't going to let him knock me out again. He was very disoriented, and before long, I took him out. Then, just like before, I felt my strength surge, and I leveled up into an adult clownfish. I now had 15 hearts. Yeah, I'm unstoppable! I looked up and noticed that Bloat had dropped something. I was hoping that it was part of the trident, but it looked like a paper. He must have already given the trident pieces to the scuba diver. I looked closer at the paper and realized it was a map of where the scuba diver docked his boat. It looked like it was on a schedule and switched every couple of days. This is good information. Yes. I also checked out Bloat's alcove, and sure enough, I found some good stuff, like refined prismarine ingots and some healing potions. This is just what I need. I felt bad about Bloat, but ultimately, he had made his choice. Hopefully now, it would be easier to defeat the scuba diver. On days 79 to 84, I traveled to the next location where the scuba diver's boat was supposed to be. I looked around the seaweed field and there was no boat. I wonder where it could be. I waited it out for a little while, but then I noticed a little movement in the seaweed. I drew my sword in preparation, but then a little sea turtle popped out.
Whoa, don't hurt me!
I'm not going to hurt you. I'm looking for the boat that's supposed to be here right now.
Oh yeah, that usually leaves here in the early morning, so you're late.
Okay, well, I guess I should go track him down.
Wait, could you help me first? Something fell out of the boat when the scuba diver left. I've been tracking him ever since he stole my dad. I think that it might be important.
I felt sorry for this little guy. So many fish and sea creatures were suffering, just because the scuba diver was selfish. Of course I'll help. We looked through the seaweed for a little longer before I saw something partially buried in the sand. Hey, I found it! The little sea turtle swam over to me and we looked at the paper. It was a map, just like mine, with the boat docking locations, but there had been a change. The boat was heading for one other stop, and then, my reef! He'll be there in just a few days. I need to go back and warn everyone. I invited the little turtle to come along with me. I learned his name was Squirt.
Thanks for helping me.
No problem. We'll get your dad back, Squirt. We made our way out of the seaweed and back to the base. On days 85 to 89, Squirt and I were about to reach the base when Jacques waved me over. I swam up to him.
I heard you needed some help.
From who?
It doesn't matter. I just hear these things. You need a way to get on the boat, right?
Until I can find the trident, yeah. Jacques went into his hole and then pulled out some sort of helmet.
This could hold you while you're out on the ship.
Wow, this is actually really helpful, Jacques. Thanks. He seemed really pleased with himself, and I invited him to live at the base again. He finally agreed. He had a lot of stuff hidden in his hole, but after a few trips, he was settled in. To thank me for helping him move in, he gave me a smithing table and some paintings. It was good to have friends. On days 90 to 94, I made some upgrades. I went to work smithing my prismarine sword using the refined prismarine ingots I had found in Bloat's things. It made my sword much stronger. Wow. I also reforged my armor. Wow, this is amazing. Too bad Bloat had to be a traitor. He would have made a good team. I also worked on some more improvements around the base. The domes were looking awesome. Hopefully, it would be safe enough from the scuba diver and whatever his plans might be. On days 95 to 97, we finally finished the statue. It looked amazing, and I was super proud of all my friends for helping me out. I was admiring the statue when Squirt swam up to me.
That kinda looks like my dad.
That's so cool. I love sea turtles. I always wanted to meet one, and now I have.
Sweet, dude.
Totally. It was a nice little moment. On day 98, I made my final preparations to get to the boat. Squirt volunteered to lead me to the scuba diver's boat.
It'll be awesome, dude. Just leave it to me.
I gave the map to Squirt, and we made our final preparations. Hey, before we go kick some scuba diver bum, be sure to subscribe. We want you to see the cool stuff we'll do next. And with that, we headed toward the surface. On day 99, we swam up toward the boat together. There were some minion fish along the way, but with my new sword, we took them out easily. We made it to the back of the boat, and I threw down the item Jacques gave me, which turned into a fish mech suit. I swam into the head, which was built like a fishbowl, letting me breathe even when outside of the water. I got on the boat with Squirt, and we looked around. The boat was pretty big. It might take some time before we find our families. We looked around the lower deck, and then went up the stairs to the upper deck. there were some fish tanks up there. Dad! I saw him immediately, his orange scales shimmering among the other fish.
Hey, I told you to stay safe down below.
No, Dad, I'm done hiding. The reef needs protecting, and I'm going to be the one to do it. He seemed taken aback, but then he smiled at me.
I'm so proud of you.
And with that, I broke the fish tanks, scooping the fish into buckets I found and throwing them back into the ocean.
Hey, Squirt!
I looked and saw a larger tank with a sea turtle.
Dad!
I broke that tank as well, letting Squirt's dad out.
Rad, man. Thanks for the assist.
Of course, Mr.
Crush, man.
Crush. Crush and Squirt thanked me and jumped overboard with the rest of the fish. I saw my dad looking at me from the water's surface.
Look out!
I turned around and saw some seagulls. They were trying to grab me out of the fishbowl. On day 100, I fought off the seagulls. They kept screeching at me, but I didn't care. I needed to find the trident. I maneuvered around the seagulls, and after a few hits, the rest of them flew away scared.
How pathetic.
We turned and saw the scuba diver, no longer in his gear. But he had the trident in his hands. He had managed to put it together. It's time for you to leave the reef.
Not a chance.
The scuba diver ran at me, ready to strike. I aimed for his hand that was holding the trident and hit him with my sword. He dropped the trident and I rushed toward it on the floor. All of a sudden, I felt an amazing power flow through my body. The suit powered up and grew in size. I felt so much stronger and faster.
No!
The scuba diver ran away toward a room. He shut the door behind him. Coward, come out and fight me. I thought he was trying to get away, but then I heard a loud noise. He broke open the door, revealing himself in an even bigger diving suit. He had one hand that shot harpoons, and the other was some sort of electric fist. The scuba diver was scary, but I wasn't going to let that stop me. This ends here. I charged, and so did the scuba diver. We exchanged a lot of blows with our weapons, but then I decided to have some fun. I urged the water to create a giant wave that rocked the boat. I also summoned the lightning to come down from the sky, striking the diver. He was looking pretty rough, and I wasn't making it easy for him.
You're just a fish. I'm a human. You will never defeat me.
I channeled the power of the storm into the trident before throwing it at him one last time, summoning a huge bolt of lightning. The sky boomed with thunder, and there was a huge flash of light. When it subsided, I saw that the diver was gone. I had defeated him. Yeah! I raised the trident in triumph before swimming back down to the base. Everyone cheered as they saw me. The reef was finally safe, and I was back with my dad. Everything was back to the way it should be. On day 1, I spawned in as Mikey from Maizen. All right, JJ, what are we doing today? Wait, where's JJ? Mikey is never without his best buddy JJ. Oh no, JJ must be in trouble. Luckily, I've got 8 hearts. It must be because I'm a turtle. I've got this tough shell to help protect me from danger, and I'm probably a really good swimmer. This'll help me find JJ for sure. I looked up and realized I'd spawned under a tree filled with apples, so I reached up to pick myself a thinking snack. But before I could take a bite, an arrow flew past my head. Oh no, skeletons! I grabbed as many apples as I could carry and ran away before one of their arrows hit me, since I had to stay in one piece to find JJ. Hey, what's the big idea? I'm just picking apples. I just kept running and running until I found a log cabin in the middle of the woods. It wasn't anything fancy, and it definitely needed some repairs, but it was cozy and a perfect place to hide for the night. There was even a lake right next to the cabin. Maybe I could go swimming once I was sure the skeletons were gone. And there were probably fish to catch in there for dinner. I just wish that JJ were here to see it too. On day 2, I went exploring around the lake and gathered some wood. I gathered enough wood to make an axe. I could use it to fix up the cabin for when I found JJ. Next, I went back to the apple tree to gather some more fruit. Hey, with enough apples, maybe I could even make a pie. But I didn't have the chance to think too much more about that because there was a gremlin chef coming up to pick apples too.
Please don't take all the apples. I need at least 4.
Don't worry, I left you plenty.
Oh, thank you. I was worried.
Have you seen my friend JJ? He's missing.
Don't know anyone by that name, I'm afraid. Someone in the village might. You should go ask around.
Thanks, I will.
Just be careful. Someone's been stealing animals and supplies around here. Maybe they took your friend, too.
I sure hoped not, but if JJ was in trouble, I would find a way to help him. Thank you, Chef. Good luck with whatever you're making.
It's pie.
Great minds think alike, and I guess he was pretty great. I took my apples back to the cabin, and along the way I found some sticks and string. I used them to craft a fishing rod and went fishing in the lake. I caught 3 fish. On day 3, I decided to work on fixing up the cabin as much as I could. I patched some holes in the wall and added a fence all around it for some extra protection. While I was working on the cabin, I found a secret back room. It was hidden behind a picture hanging on the wall. There was so much space back there. I had no idea. If I couldn't find that room without looking super carefully, then I was willing to bet no monsters would be able to find me in there either. I decided to make the secret back room my new base and got to work filling it with everything I found so far: the apples, the fish, and my tools. Then I went back to the lake to try and catch some more fish. Before I started fishing, I saw a block near the trees that looked a little strange. I used my pickaxe to break it open, and inside was a nasty silverfish. I should have been more careful. I knew they could contaminate blocks in some areas. I managed to fight off the silverfish, and when I got finished, I felt myself getting stronger. Defeating them made me a better fighter, and I knew I could handle the next enemy way better. Clearly, the exercise helped, because now I had 10 hearts. I was so excited, I swam around the lake, and I was an even faster swimmer too. What an exciting day, but I couldn't lose sight of my goal. I had to find JJ. On day 4 to 5, I was walking toward the village to see if anyone there could help me find JJ. On the way, I found a bush full of sweet berries. I stopped to pick some of the berries when all of a sudden I was surrounded by skeletons again. This time, there was no way for me to run away. Why are you doing this? What do you want?
The boss wants us to bring you to him, just like your little friend.
JJ, you know where he is?
Of course we kidnapped him. In the service of the fallen king.
Who is that?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yes, I would. That's why I'm asking.
Enough talking. You're coming with us.
But I was stronger this time than I was before. I'd have to face them, and I wasn't going anywhere without a fight. The skeletons started closing in on me, but I pulled out my axe and started swinging as fast and as hard as I could. I wasn't sure if I'd make it. There were so many of them, but I fought hard and used my newfound strength and speed to get them tired out and taken down. Then I grabbed my berries and ran back to my base, safe and sound. But I still had so many questions. What did they do with JJ? Where did they want to take me, and why? And who was the fallen king, and what did he have planned? I needed to get a good night's rest, because there was definitely a big fight waiting for me in the days to come. On days 6 to 8, I found a cave in the woods where I could do some mining. I was going to need a lot more tools if I was going to find the fallen king and get JJ back from him. Wow, this cave is amazing! Look at all of this stuff! I found some flint, coal, iron, and even some gold. I took all the materials back to my base, crafted some furnaces, and crafted a pickaxe, a sword, a bow and arrow, and a pair of shiny gold boots. These will help protect me when I go up against those skeletons again. It had gotten pretty dark by the time I was finished, and I heard some strange noises coming from outside my cabin. I looked outside, and there were a bunch of ghast trying to get inside. They were floating by the fence, opening their mouths, and getting ready to shoot fireballs at me. You picked the wrong cabin to mess with. If you just turn around and leave, we won't have to have any trouble. Otherwise, I'm going to get my bow and start firing arrows, and you won't like that very much. I waited for them to leave, but they didn't listen to my warning. Time to fight some ghast then. I grabbed my bow and shot the first arrow. Before long, they were retreating, running away from the cabin like they were scared of me. I guess they were. With my new equipment, I was even tougher than before. With the danger gone for now, I hopped into bed to get some well-deserved rest. On days 9 and 10, I finally made it into the village. I was looking for answers, but I was also looking for some more supplies. I couldn't keep eating apples, berries, and fish. I needed all my strength if I was going to find JJ and defeat the fallen king. But when I arrived in the village, something was wrong. All of the shops had their doors closed and locked, and no one was walking around outside. It was as if they were all hiding in their houses. Hello? Anyone here? But no one answered. Maybe they were scared of me, but why? I was just a friendly turtle, looking to buy some food and ask some questions. Someone opened their door and pushed out one loaf of bread, before closing it and locking it again. Oh, that must be for me. Thank you. I took the bread and headed back to my base. As I made my way through the woods, I saw a dark figure standing between the trees. He was wearing black armor with purple horns.
So, this is where you've been hiding.
Who are you?
Don't you know by now? After all, I am the one who took your friend.
The fallen king. What have you done with JJ?
I'll tell you, if you just come with me.
Never! I drew my sword, ready to battle with him, when suddenly a friendly cat jumped out of a tree and landed in front of me.
No, don't do it. He's too strong to take on by yourself.
But he has JJ.
He took my friend too. I'll help you, but if you try now, you'll lose.
As I watched, the fallen king sprouted a pair of purple wings and flew away.
I'll be back.
Then it was just me and the cat. What's your name, kitty?
Bella.
Nice to meet you, Bella. On days 11 to 12, I built another bed in the cabin so Bella could have a place to sleep. I just knew she and JJ were going to get along great once we saved him. Then the two of us went out to gather supplies for the coming battle with the fallen king. She was really good at catching fish and didn't even need a rod to do it. Suddenly, she looked up at something.
Look out!
I turned to see what she was warning me about, and I saw a wither skeleton running toward me with its sword drawn. It hit me, and I fell to the ground, losing hearts. I tried to get up and fight back, but it hit me again, hard. I lost more hearts. Luckily, the wither skeleton didn't follow us, but the damage was done, and I was getting pretty worried. I went back into the mine and looked for anything I could use, and I found some more gold. Perfect! I hurried back home to craft a gold sword and went back out looking for the wither skeleton. It was still by the lake when I got there. This time, I was able to fight back and knock it down. Back at the base, I gave Bella my old sword. Now we're both ready to fight. While I was gone, she planted seeds for wheat and apple trees. When we finally got JJ back, I just knew he was going to love the amazing base we were making together. On days 13 to 15, I was working on the cabin when Bella came and found me.
There's something you need to see.
What is it?
I found a book. I think it's about the fallen king. Take a look.
It looked like it was decades old, and the pages were almost falling out. I picked up the book and started to read. Long ago, there was a greedy king. He was an ordinary man, but his evil heart made him seem more like a monster. All day long, he would steal from his villagers, taking their food, their gold, and even kidnapping people to take to his castle. There, he would force them to compete in challenges for their freedom, trying to see which one was the strongest, the toughest, and the smartest. When he found the winner, he would defeat them in a challenge one-on-one to show that he was the very best in all the land. The people rose up and stormed his castle, rebelling against all the pain and strife he had caused. But the king had a secret plan in place, and just when they thought they had defeated him, he became something else. A shadowy warrior with purple wings and horns. He went into hiding, but promised to one day return to take back the throne once again. When the fallen king returns, only a brave hero, led by the power of goodness and friendship, will be able to stop him. But what did any of that have to do with me?
It's you. You're the hero.
No, I'm just me. I can't defeat some magical king. I just want to get my friend JJ back so we can have fun exploring.
But
forget this. I didn't want to admit it, but I was scared. What if I wasn't strong enough? What if I let everyone down? JJ, Bella, and myself. On days 16 to 19, I woke up and noticed that Bella was gone. And when I looked outside, I saw footprints. Someone must have come to the cabin and taken her, but it didn't look like the work of the fallen king, and I could see snow tracked on the ground that hadn't melted yet. I remembered that there was snow further up in the mountains around the forest. That must be where Bella is. I hiked up the mountain until the whole world around me was as snowy and icy as it could be. It took me 2 whole days to make it, but then I finally saw Bella. She was locked in a cage, guarded by snow nightmares. Bella, what happened?
I managed to escape these guys before I found you, but they must have tracked me down. You have to help me, please.
I'll do my best.
It's not just me either. Look.
I looked. The snow nightmares heard me planning and started closing in on me. I drew my gold sword and started to swing at them. They went down one by one, and suddenly I noticed myself getting bigger. I gained 2 hearts, and I had a total of 12 now. I released Bella from her cage, and together we fought off the rest of the snow nightmares. Then we freed the fox.
Thank you so much. How can I ever repay you?
What do you know about the fallen king? He has my friend, and I have to defeat him. I knew now I could do it if I tried.
I've only heard a little bit, but I know there is supposed to be a legendary potion. The only way to defeat him for good, so he never comes back again.
Do you know where it is?
I'm sorry, I don't. I don't even know for sure if it's real.
And with that, the fox scurried away. But we knew more than we did before, and tomorrow we would start looking for the potion. On days 20 to 22, we made it back to the cabin and found it covered in even more gas. Get out of here, you creeps! I started firing arrows at them with my bow. They scattered before they could do any damage to the base, and Bella and I went inside.
Tell me more about JJ. He sounds pretty special if you're going to all this trouble for him.
He's my best friend. We do everything together. Or we did, before the Fallen King's skeletons kidnapped him. But he always knows how to have fun. He's the best at challenges, and he supports me through the good and the bad times.
Maybe we could do something to honor him, to remember what you're fighting for, like build a statue.
That's a great idea. Before I went to gather supplies for the statue, I placed torches all around the perimeter of the base. This should keep any more nasty monsters out. With that long overdue change taken care of, I went to harvest some wood for the great big statue we were going to build of JJ. I found some chickens and harvested their feathers. Back at the cabin, I cleared a whole bunch of grass and blocks to make space for the statue. Then Bella and I got to work building. It was so much easier with Bella there to help. Work always goes by faster when you have a friend lending a hand, or a paw. And hey, by the way, thank you for watching. If you liked the video so far, that would mean the world to me if you subscribed and turned on notifications. That way, you'll be sure to catch my next adventure. Thanks! On days 23 to 26, I was in the cabin when suddenly a skeleton came up to the door. He was wearing full armor and carrying a big, impressive sword. Get out of here, bonehead! I attacked him with my own sword and managed to chase him off. As he ran away, I noticed that he dropped something. It was a shield, a brigand shield to be exact. I decided to test it out. Bella, attack me with your axe.
What?
Just do it. I want to try something. She ran at me with her axe, and the shield protected me. It blocked every single blow. Wow, this thing is amazing. Just as I was preparing to test out my new shield some more, I heard someone rustling around outside the door to the cabin. If that's another skeleton. But when I looked, I saw a cat instead.
Bella, are you here? I heard from the fox that you found a safe place to stay.
Kiki, it's you. This is my friend I told you about. How did you get away?
I managed to sneak out while the king was busy with something else. Someone named JJ helped distract him.
That's my friend. Was he okay?
He was, but he definitely needs help. But I'm so tired from running for days. Can I stay here, please?
Of course. I let Kiki inside and decided to ask her some more questions tomorrow. On days 27 to 31, I asked Kiki what she might happen to know about a legendary potion, the one that the fox had told us about.
I don't know much about it, but I do know someone who does. A wise old monkey who lives on an island not too far away.
So we'll need to find a boat.
Don't worry. I know someone who will let us borrow his. Come with me.
Kiki and I said goodbye to Bella and left to go get ourselves a boat and travel to see the wise monkey. We borrowed a boat from a kind man with a shop by the ocean and set sail toward the island. After a couple of days at sea, though, we suddenly felt something hit the side of the boat, shaking it all over. What was that? I looked over the side of the boat into the water and saw a huge shark ramming itself into the boat. It snapped its teeth at me and tried to bite me. No way, we've got places to be. I shot an arrow at the shark, but I missed. It tried to bite the boat, but I fired another arrow. This time, I hit it. Wounded, the shark swam away and out of sight. I guess these waters are more dangerous than I thought. We'll have to keep an eye out for more trouble. Somehow, I had the feeling we would encounter more danger before we had everything we needed, but it was all worth it to find my friend. On days 32 to 35, we found a hut along the beach surrounded by palm trees full of coconuts. I stopped to pick some coconuts to take back to my base.
Hey, those are my coconuts.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
Excuse me, are you Wise Jim?
Who's asking?
I'm Kiki, and this is my friend. We heard you might know something about the legendary potion of light.
I might, but how do I know I can trust you?
We're preparing to fight the fallen king. He has my friend, JJ, and we need to rescue him.
So you're looking for the potion, eh?
We all turned around, and there was the fallen king, hovering over the water with his wings spread out wide.
You'll never find it, and you'll never defeat me.
Get ready for a beating, fallen king. We won't let you get away with this.
Oh, really? You and what army? Find me when you're ready. Pathetic.
Then the fallen king turned and left, leaving us looking on angrily. We turned to Wise Jim, the monkey. Would you like to come back with us to our base? It should be safer there.
Yes, please. Let me just pack a bag.
And he grabbed as many coconuts and bananas as he could carry.
Okay, now I'm ready.
So with plenty of snacks for the journey, we all boarded the boat together. On days 36 to 39, I had arrived back at the base with Kiki and our new friend, Wise Jim. Well, he enjoyed some bananas and took in the new view. Kiki, Bella, and me all got to work building a new area for him to stay in. We added a treehouse onto one of the trees just outside the cabin. Here, this is just for you. We hope you like it.
Like it? I love it.
Once he was all settled, I decided to ask him what he knew about the legendary potion, or the Potion of Light.
The Potion of Light. Yes, I've heard many stories about it. I can't say for sure where it is hidden, but I do know that it is buried in an abandoned mineshaft out in the Badlands. But be warned, it is a harsh landscape, and there are no friendly creatures that live there.
The Badlands, huh? Sounds pretty bad. I'll need to make sure I prepare before I go. Before I could leave for the Badlands though, Bella and I needed to work on the next part of the JJ statue. I couldn't help but feel like if I could finish it before I faced off against the fallen king, I would be brave enough to rescue the friend it represented. With the power of friendship on my side, no Badlands monsters, skeletons, or even the fallen king himself could stand in my way. From days 40 to 43, I headed down into the mines to look for some diamonds. I saw Kiki running out of a tunnel, screaming. What's going on?
Spiders! That tunnel is full of spiders!
Did you happen to see any diamonds in there?
I did, but the spiders were crawling around all over them. Yuck! I'm out of here.
Just a couple little spiders? I fought ghasts and skeletons. I can handle spiders. I took a look into the cave and saw the spiders all over the ground. They were pretty big, and I didn't want to get anywhere near them, so I fired an arrow at the spiders from a distance instead. They didn't like that too much, and they swarmed at me. One of them bit me, and it was poisonous. It brought me down to 2 hearts. I had to draw my sword and fight it if I wanted to survive. It was a close call, but I managed to defeat the spiders without breaking my sword or losing any more hearts. Yes. I scooped up the diamonds and rushed back to my base with them. There, I used them to craft a diamond axe, diamond sword, and diamond boots. Sparkly and super strong and durable. On days 44 to 49, I journeyed to the Badlands in search of the underground mineshaft where the Potion of Light was hidden. Wow, look at all of this sand, and it's so hot out. I hope I can find the potion fast. I'm already getting thirsty. As I was walking through the sand and looking for some shade to take a quick break in, I suddenly locked eyes with an Enderman. Uh-oh. But then I remembered, I was much stronger than I had been before, and I had all my upgraded gear. This was going to be a snap. After just a few hits, the Enderman went down. I was honestly kind of surprised at how easy it was. Maybe I could take on the Fallen King after all. Maybe it wouldn't even be that hard. As I kept walking, I saw more Endermen up ahead, attacking a horse. Hey, leave him alone! But the horse didn't need my help. He took down the Enderman all by himself and then galloped over to me.
Hi, I'm Ed.
I'm Zozo. I'm out here looking for a special potion. Have you heard anything about it?
I found the mine shaft where it was hidden, but it was gone. All that was left was a note saying it had been taken away and hidden somewhere else by the ocean.
Oh, I guess I need to head that way then.
Are you trying to fight the Fallen King? Let me help you. Hop on my back, and I'll get you there faster.
So I jumped onto Ed's back, and we rode off into the sunset. On days 50 to 53, I rode on Ed's back all the way to the beach. After how dry and dusty the Badlands were, it was amazing to breathe in that cool sea air. Do you think we could take a break and go swimming, Ed? The water looks great.
Sounds like a swell idea to me.
So we hopped into the water and started splashing around. It was so much fun, and I couldn't wait to splash around with JJ when we finally rescued him. But that would have to wait. We had company. Oh no, it's the shark. That's right, the shark was back, and he looked hungry. He was a super scary enemy before, but that was before I got my diamond sword. Take that, Sharky! With a few strong hits, I was able to turn this shark into sushi, and Ed and I were safe again. Now it was time to look around. Maybe the legendary Potion of Light was around here somewhere. That's when we found a little cove on the edge of the beach and the friendly ocean nymph that lived there. I asked her about the note telling us we could find the Potion of Light on the beach, but she told us if the potion was ever here, it's gone now. Bummer! How am I ever going to fight the Fallen King and save my friend JJ? I think the friendly ocean nymph felt bad for me because she gave me a diamond helmet to match my axe, sword, and boots. I'm even tougher now. On days 54 to 57, I decided I needed to beef up the base's security to keep me and my friends safe from the Fallen King. After all, he's attacked us before, he could always do it again. Maybe the base needed a bigger wall, made of stone this time. If I mine enough stone to make a big strong wall, there's no way the Fallen King's forces are gonna get in and kidnap us. So that's exactly what I did. When I'd finished mining the stone and building the wall, I put torches along the top for extra safety. That's when Wise Jim came over.
Hey! I've been whipping up a new enchantment that'll help you defeat the Fallen King. But I need a favor. Some zombies have been hanging around my favorite banana tree. Go scare them off.
That enchantment sounded pretty sweet, so I grabbed my bow and arrow and went after the mob of zombies hanging around Wise Jim's favorite banana tree. I've gotten so strong now, these guys are no challenge for me. I ran in, firing arrow after arrow, until those nasty zombies were running for the hills. I know JJ would have been so proud of me. When I went back to Wise Jim, he gave my diamond sword an unbreakable enchantment, making it stronger and tougher than it had ever been. I bet the Fallen King is shaking in his boots. Don't worry, JJ, I'm almost strong enough to come and save you. On days 58 to 62, things got serious. It all started when I was working on my JJ statue. I think I was about half done, and it was looking great. I needed to make it perfect, so when I rescued JJ and all my new friends got to meet him, he'd be able to see what a good job I did. I was so wrapped up in making the statue perfect, I didn't even notice that some of the Fallen King's scariest goons were on their way. A gang of skeletons in full diamond armor with diamond swords.
This has gone on far enough. The Fallen King has sent us to crack your shell, destroy your base, and leave nothing standing. Give up or face our wrath.
But there was no way I was going to give in. I told Bella and Kiki to hold inside the base and make sure nobody got in, while Wise Jim and I took on the diamond skeletons.
Let's show these boneheads who's boss.
But the fight was way harder than we thought. The Fallen King must have sent some of his best men, because as we fought, they just wouldn't go down. Thankfully, Wise Jim and I fought hard enough to defeat some of the diamond skeletons and send the rest running. We were just about to celebrate when one of the fleeing skeletons fired an arrow from the woods and hit Wise Jim. No! I tried to help, but it was already too late. Wise Jim was gone. On day 63 to 66, I chased the diamond skeleton into the deep dark forest as he ran away. He destroyed Wise Jim, and I needed to avenge him. There was no way I'd let them escape, no matter how spooky the deep forest got. Get back here. You wanna fight? Let's fight! I backed him into a corner and threatened him with my unbreakable diamond sword. Tell me, where can I find the legendary potion of light?
You'll never get it. It's being guarded by one of the Fallen King's strongest warriors at the bottom of the King's Royal Gold Mine. And besides, you're not leaving this forest alive.
That's when the other surviving diamond skeletons came out of the woods around me. Oh no, this whole thing was a trap. They were trying to lure me away from the base this whole time. This is for you, Wise Jim. I'll never forget you. That's when I fought the strongest I ever fought and defeated all of the skeletons except one, who was shaking with fear. Thankfully, he could still be useful to me. Tell me, where can I find the Fallen King's Royal Gold Mine? On day 67 to 70, using the last Diamond Skeleton's instructions, I made my way to the Fallen King's Royal Gold Mine. It was huge and horrible. Villagers that the Fallen King had kidnapped were being forced to mine gold for him, or they'd be attacked by some of his skeleton warriors. Don't worry, guys, I'm gonna get you out of here. Who's the boss around these parts? The captured villagers told me to travel further into the mine, where I'd meet one of the Fallen King's strongest warriors, Dorzen, the Soul Eater. A huge red monster with a scary smile and a fist made of stone. He was so tough, even my diamond sword would have trouble hurting him. He was waiting next to a pit filled with lava. It isn't too late to give up, Dorzen. Tell me where to find the Potion of Light and let all these villagers go, and I won't have to hurt you. But Dorzen wasn't interested in talking this out. I don't even know if he could talk. He just attacked me and managed to take all of my hits while beating me again and again. He was for sure the toughest enemy I'd ever faced. It was such a big mistake to come here alone. Just as Dorzen was about to throw me into the lava pit, Ed the horse charged in.
Get away from my friend, you monster!
Ed charged right into Dorzen and knocked him over into the magma pit. Dorzen got burned and ran off. He'd probably think twice about messing with us again. Thanks for the save, Ed. On days 71 to 74, Ed and I searched through the mine to find where Dorzen may have been hiding the legendary Potion of Light. Ed was still grateful for me defeating the shark that attacked us on the beach, so he was more than happy to help me rescue JJ from the Fallen King. Eventually, after mining through some stone, we found a secret door that led into Dorzen the Soul Eater's lair. Talk about spooky! The place was dark, lit only by a few little torches, and scary-looking weapons on racks over the walls. There were even a few villagers locked up in a cage. We let them out, of course, along with all the others. But no matter how hard we looked, we couldn't find the Potion of Light. It didn't make sense. That skeleton told me Dorzen was hiding it in the Fallen King's Royal Gold Mine.
Look, I found a note.
What does it say, Ed?
I don't know. Horses can't read.
He was right, so I took a look at the note. It came directly from the Fallen King. It said,
Well, well, well. It looks like you found your way into my mind. Exactly as I expected. You're an impressive one. I can see why JJ talks about you all the time. If you care about him, I suggest you stop looking, or both of you are going to get hurt.
Rats! Looks like the Fallen King was always one step ahead. On days 75 to 78, I headed back to the base to build some improvements and think about what I'd learned. After Wise Jim died, I was worried about Bella and Kiki, and I realized that if more of the Fallen King's army attacked, they needed a safe place to hide. I added an iron safe room to the inside of the base with a secure door and torches to ward off mobs. If someone attacked, they could hide in there while I fought off the bad guys. I had also taken some gold from the Fallen King's gold mine and turned it into a chest plate and some leggings. That's when Dorzon the Soul Eater returned, and Bella and Kiki ran off to hide in the new safe room. It was time for me and Dorzon to finish this. He was tough, even with his lava burns, but with my new armor, I was able to get an edge and defeat him for good. Dorzon won't be eating any more souls. And for defeating such an evil monster, I got upgraded. I was bigger, stronger, faster, and my shell was tougher than ever. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see the Fallen King take me on now. That's when I noticed that Dorzon had dropped a note I was never meant to see, directly from the Fallen King. It read,
"Once you've captured Zozo, take him to my mountain castle. My other operative will meet you there."
And now, he's gonna be meeting me. On days 79 to 84, I traveled alone to the Fallen King's mountain castle, where Dorzon was going to meet another one of the Fallen King's goons. Surely this guy would be able to direct me to the king himself. But when I finally arrived at the castle, after 2 days of mountain climbing, I didn't find any monsters waiting for me. I turned to see a Viking named Bjorn walking up behind me, carrying a diamond axe.
Hello, my friend. I see you too are seeking the Fallen King. He kidnapped one of my friends too. Maybe we can work together.
That's a great idea. Let's do it. You can help me free my friend JJ, and I can help you free yours. Wait, how did you find out about this mountain castle, Bjorn?
Good question.
That's when Bjorn suddenly attacked me with his diamond axe. Thankfully, with my upgraded shell and a full set of armor, he couldn't do too much damage. I pulled out my diamond sword and hit him until he gave up and dropped his weapon. Bjorn was the Fallen King's other goon all along. Okay, Bjorn, if that is your real name, tell me where I can find the Fallen King.
It is my real name, and the Fallen King's true base is in the Dread Palace, in the volcanic magma fields.
But that's one of the most dangerous places on the map. How could anyone live there?
The Fallen King is undefeatable. He can live anywhere he likes. And if you think you can just waltz in there and defeat him, then you've got a death wish, kid.
On days 85 to 89, I made my way back to my base, feeling more doubtful than ever. Sure, I had a cool sword and a tough shell, but what's that worth compared to the Fallen King and his army of evil? What if there was no way for me to save JJ, and he just ended up being forced to mine gold for an evil king in a palace full of lava? I felt so down about all this that I decided to just go to bed. That's when Bella came and woke me up. She had some words of encouragement for me.
Don't you remember the story? You're the hero who's destined to defeat the Fallen King.
Maybe the story is wrong, Bella. He's so much more powerful than I thought. Even some of his foot soldiers were able to beat Wise Jim. How can I beat him? That's when Bella had a genius idea.
Maybe you can use your natural skills against him. You're a turtle. You have a tough shell. Maybe you don't need armor.
But why would I fight without armor?
Isn't it obvious? The Fallen King wears a huge set of heavy armor. It's tough, but it slows him down. If you go in there without your armor, you'll still be tough because of your shell, but you'll be able to run circles around the Fallen King. Maybe that's the edge you need.
It was a wild idea. So wild, it just might work. On days 90 to 94, I prepared for the final battle against the Fallen King and to rescue JJ. I removed my armor, just like Bella said. I was so much faster. I bet the Fallen King could never be this fast. I bet I can leave that meanie in the dust. But if I'm relying on my natural defenses, I'm gonna need to make sure I've got one heck of an attack. I needed to gather the material to upgrade my diamond sword and my bow. Enough that even the Fallen King and his strongest minions won't stand a chance. First, the sword. Using some of the knowledge from the books Wise Jim kept in his treehouse, I gave my unbreakable sword 3 more enchantments. Sharpness, which increases damage. Knockback, which knocks my enemies back when I hit them. And finally, Fire Aspect, which sets my enemies on fire when I hit them directly. I can't wait to show JJ this awesome sword when I rescue him. Next, I upgraded my bow. Just like my sword, I gave it extra power, which makes it do even more damage. Then I gave it knockback so I could stun my enemies and knock them off their feet. And of course, flame, so my arrows will set my enemies on fire, just like my sword. Yes. Ha! The Fallen King isn't going to know what hit him. Hang in there, JJ. I'm gonna defeat the king, save you, and set everybody free. Believe it. On days 95 to 97, I started to get nervous. Sure, I was a lot stronger and faster, and had way more powerful weapons than I used to, but every time I'd faced the Fallen King before, he was so scary, I needed to run away rather than defeat him. What if he's got even more tricks up his sleeve? No, I can't think like this. I can't let him get into my head. This is just what he wants. To try and calm my nerves, I decided to finally finish my JJ statue. Even if I was too weak to take down the Fallen King and save my friend from his clutches, I'd have this statue to remember him by. But when I actually finished the statue, everything changed. I realized it'd been the first time in almost 100 days that I'd seen JJ. But this wasn't JJ, it was just a statue. It couldn't talk to me, play games with me, do fun Minecraft challenges with me. It couldn't do anything that JJ could do with me. It could just sit there and remind me that he's gone. That's it. I can't afford to be a coward. Even if I'm afraid, even if I'm in danger, it's worth the risk to get JJ back. I know I'm strong enough to do this. It's time to take the Fallen King down. And when JJ is here again, he's going to see this awesome statue that I made for him. There's just one more thing that I need to do first. On day 98, I spoke to my friends at the base, Bella, Kiki, and Ed the horse. I told them that I was going to go to the Dread Palace, take on the Fallen King, and get JJ back.
I want to come too.
Yeah, let me tag along. Let's take down this evil guy.
No! Kiki, Ed, you've put yourself in too much danger already. You two hang back and stay in the safe room. We've known each other the longest. We started this, so we'll finish this.
Nobody can disagree with that. The two of us took the time to discuss a battle plan before we set off. After all, the Fallen King had always been one step ahead, so we needed to make sure that we would be 2 steps ahead if we wanted to beat him. And with that, we were ready to set off. Anything else you want to say? Seeing as this might be the last time we see each other, if this goes badly and the Fallen King captures us.
Good luck.
And make sure to subscribe to Zozo. Z-O-Z-O. We've got even more crazy, wild, and exciting adventures to come, where our hero fights diabolical villains, makes awesome bases and weapons, and meets more interesting friends like us.
All of us agreed, and with that, Bella and I set off for the Dread Palace. On day 99, the assault on the Dread Palace finally began. Just as we expected, the Fallen King had the place heavily guarded. A bunch of diamond-armored skeleton warriors were assembled outside the front gate. But it's okay, we planned for this. Good luck, Bella, I believe in you. The first stage in the plan was simple. Bella would go in first with her cat speed and agility and distract the first wave of guards. With the skeleton army drawn away from the front gate, it was time for me to storm in and take charge. But of course, it wasn't that easy. In the opening hallway of the Dread Palace, the Fallen King had built in trapdoors that dropped down into pits full of molten lava. Yikes! Thankfully, I was able to dodge the trapdoors and keep going. But it wasn't over yet. Not by a long shot. Once I made it past the first few hallways, the Fallen King deployed another one of his deadly minions, the Behemoth, a huge, extremely powerful monster. I needed to be careful. Even a couple hits from a monster like that would destroy me. But because I was only wearing my natural armor, just like Bella and I had planned, I could run circles around him. I hit him several times with my fully upgraded sword, setting him on fire and knocking him down for good. Is that the best you got, Fallen King? Maybe I underestimated you. Hey, over here! I recognized that voice. It was JJ. I'd finally found him. No time to waste. I ran over to the cell the Fallen King was keeping my best friend in and set him free. I was so excited to be hanging out with him again. But we weren't done yet. I told him to head back to our base. I have some unfinished business to take care of. On day 100, with JJ saved, I needed to make sure he and everyone else was never captured again. I needed to fight and defeat the Fallen King once and for all. I ran deeper into the Dread Palace, sword and bow ready to take on anything I saw. First, more diamond-armored skeletons, which I was able to take out with a quick volley of arrows. Bam! 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 They ran away, screaming and on fire. Then, a Behemoth and Soul Eater tag team emerged from the dark as I got even closer to the throne room. These guys would have seemed tough a while back, but after what I'd been through, nothing could stop me. I pulled out my enchanted diamond sword and went to work, sending them burning and running just like the skeletons. I felt unstoppable until I reached the throne room. There stood the Fallen King, and it looked like this whole time he was waiting for me.
At long last, you're here. You've been a thorn in my side for too long. Now I'm going to destroy you personally. Are you ready to see true power?
Rather than replying, I shot the Fallen King with a bunch of super-powered arrows, but all that seemed to do was make him laugh. But that's when he got really scary. The Fallen King unleashed his true form, growing larger and more powerful than he'd ever been before. I couldn't fight him like this. I needed to run. I kept running down the hallway as this giant, terrifying version of the Fallen King left the throne room and chased me.
You can't run forever. You're mine now.
I ducked into the Fallen King's supply room, closed the door, and began building a brick wall in front of it. But that wouldn't hold him for long. He was already starting to smash his way through it. Think! But that's when I saw it. Sitting on the shelf, the legendary Potion of Light. Wasting no time, I grabbed and took the potion. That's when everything changed. I grew to the same size as the fallen king. My hearts and armor literally doubled. I was faster, stronger, and even had the power of light on my side to go against the fallen king's darkness. When he breached the wall, the battle was on. I attacked him relentlessly, dodging his attacks and striking back at him. Just like Bella said, even in his upgraded state, his heavy armor slowed him down. He couldn't stop me from getting him.
Curse you! Curse you!
I struck him one more time with my burning sword, and the fire consumed him. The fallen king was no more, and everyone he'd captured was free. When I finally returned to the base, I saw that JJ and Bella had returned safely and were hanging out with Ed and Kiki next to the statue I made.
Hey, is that supposed to be me?